Hello and a very good evening to you. Here we are back with the incredible adventures of the unsinkable Alice Baker, Call of Cthulhu in the 1930s, and we are playing the adventure Simmon, Strand. This is the second part based on Die Prise der Krähen, published by Pegasus Press. And it is now still the Friday. And it is Friday evening. You have arrived in Simmon Strand. You were going to visit your friend Matthew, who is a lawyer and who's working in Simmon Strand at the moment for Giles Morton, and he's offered you to put you up in one of the newly built chalets, holiday chalets. And he was going to pick you up from the platform at 16:48 precisely and take you to the chalet. You and your aide, Dottie Williams, and all of your luggage, of which there is plenty. However, he never showed up.
Sadly, no.
So you made the decision to investigate where he might be, and sent Dottie away to the chalet to basically set everything up for you, take care of the luggage, and a newlyweds, the Sterling family, have rented a car and have decided to give Dottie a lift because they're also staying in one of the chalets. And you met all of the other occupants of the chalets on the train, the Martin family and the Sterlings. And you have gone to the place where Matthew is staying. It's the Murphy's Hotel. Quite a big place, and a very nice one too.
Yeah, I have to say, it looked really nice.
And you muscled your way into his room by intimidating the manager of the house, Mr. Crickleshane.
I did not touch him.
No, you didn't touch him, but
I was tempted. No.
You were very persuasive, shall we say, or
Yes.
maybe even intimidating. And you have looked at his room. He actually occupies two rooms. It's two adjoining rooms. One is used as an office. The other one is used as the bedroom. And he's not there. He isn't there. There is no trace of him. All of his stuff is still there. You found all of his paperwork, which after a long investigation you found is complete, but was very disorderly on his desk, which is not like him at all. And you also found a library card of a book that he must have taken out, although you never found the book. And you found a piece of paper on which he had written something, and drawn some symbols. And then also you found a handkerchief with the imprint of lipsticks, and lips, obviously wearing lipstick. So unless he's now decided that lipstick is the new black and he's going to wear it from here on out, this is quite unusual. Which would also be quite unusual.
Especially in the office.
But you couldn't find any trace of him, and after a while you stopped searching and you made your way to the chalets by the coast road, which is a really lovely path along the coast. It took you about 20-25 minutes. And when you arrived, everything had already been set in motion. The dinner was already cooking, so you've been invited by the Sterlings to celebrate their wedding because they got a huge gift hamper from Mr. Morton, and it's way too much food, they say, to eat just for the two of them. So it's basically fresh fish, fresh oysters, fresh crabs, everything from Poseidon's garden, as the hostess has said. And Dottie has set up everything that needs setting up, so your stuff has been put away in your bedroom, and when you arrive, you tell her all about the fact that you haven't found Matthew, and she just offers you a stiff drink. And then it's time for the evening meal. You go next door. The hostess and host are most gracious, and you decide to dine outside, and everything is prepared, and you all sit down and have a fantastic meal. The food is excellent. The sea air, of course, makes you even hungrier than you might be. And there is some nice wine, there is some nice champagne, and there's also some lemonade for the kids, because obviously the Martenses brought their 2 children.
Which are well behaved, I have to say, surprisingly.
Absolutely.
I was afraid to be, well, annoyed about loud, I don't know, fighting over something, not liking the food. They are really pleasant.
They are very pleasant, and after about 45 to 50 minutes, they basically have eaten their fill, because children usually eat a lot less than adults because they need less. And they basically ask very politely if they may be excused and go to their own place. And the mother says, yeah, that's fine. And she goes with them to let them into the house, and then basically, comes back and says, well, she left instructions that should something happen, they should just hop over. And then she asks if she can switch places with you, because from where you are sitting, you can see the door of her chalet.
I will gladly switch places with her.
And she is very happy that you do so. So you switch places. So now she sits next to Dottie and you sit next to her husband.
Okay.
And and that's it. So
Dottie, as always, will recognize that I'm drinking more than I am eating.
Okay. Wine or lemonade?
Wine. Definitely wine. I'm worried. I'm well, I can't do much this evening. But it's more like keeping up the show than really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
So Alice is also surprisingly silent. She's not talking too much. She's answering when she's asked, but she's just listening basically with one ear, and in the other ear she's just going again through what she found out so far.
Mm-hmm.
And Dottie definitely knows me differently.
Does notice, and so in order to make up for not your, you're not being unpleasant, you're just being quiet. Mm-hmm. But in order to make up for this maybe quietness that some people might even perceive as being quiet, she does do a lot more talking than she would usually do. And as you sit there and, the evening wears on, and then there's dessert. So there is lemon sherbet and all kinds of ice creams and stuff. And night is falling, and it gets dark at some point. So around about 10ish, it's dark. And then at around, I don't know, at some point suddenly there is a noise, and there is bright lights coming directly from the sea. So basically you can now see the sea because you're sitting with your back to the chalet and you're looking out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, I suppose the best thing to call them are searchlights. Those really, really bright lamps that you find on ships.
Mm-hmm.
Not the positioning lamps that they use to say, okay, this is where we are, but the ones that they can actually move around to light up the night, as it were, to look for stuff. And you can hear these, interestingly enough, you can hear, do you know anything about nautical stuff? There isn't anything about nautical stuff unless you specifically decided to put it in. The best way to describe it is what you can hear are foghorns.
Okay. Yeah, she's been on the ship. She's also already traveled by ship, so I think the basic stuff she knows.
These are the foghorns that ships sometimes use to signal.
Mm-hmm.
Basically Mrs. Martin, who's sitting now opposite you, turns around and is like, oh my, what is this?
It looks like a search party.
The gentlemen are, of course, very interested. Big ships, it's like big cars. So they get up.
Alice gets up as well and joins them.
And they're like, oh, well, if we just go down and cross the path, we can go to the cliff and look. And they basically do just that. So the way you have to imagine the setting is the chalets are actually on kind of like a cliff face. So basically there is then the cliff, and then there's a beach below this. This is the private beach that goes with them. There are stairs that lead down. But in order to ensure that nobody falls down, there is kind of like some kind of fencing.
Fencing, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not that high, so it basically reaches you maybe up to your rib cage. So kids could definitely not just fall over, and you would have to climb, but you would get over if you tried.
Okay.
And from there you can basically see, so it's maybe from the veranda that you're sitting on to the cliff face, it's maybe, I don't know, 8-10 meters, so you can easily get there.
Yeah.
And as you peer into the darkness, you can give me a spot hidden roll. You can see the lights all right, that's not the point.
That is a success.
Okay. You can actually see as the lights, because the lights they don't quite rotate, but they sweep from side to side. So you can see that there are sailors are on board the ship and peer into the water. So they're hanging over the railing looking. And you can also tell that because obviously you know the lay of the land, you've looked at maps, they are traveling north along the coast, and they're traveling quite quickly. And after a while, they are just swallowed by the dark. They switch off those searchlights, and you can only see the position lights. And after a while, and it's a huge vessel. It's a merchant vessel, so it's quite big. And you can also give me another spot hidden, and let's see if Dottie sees anything, because Dottie, of course, checked. Oh wow, she got a 15.
Oh, that is a hard success.
Oh, that's actually what you required, because as you peer into the darkness and as the ship has left, you seem to see another shadow, a lot smaller. And it seems to be traveling away from the big ship. And the moon comes out at that moment, and it lights up the night sky, and you can see it's actually quite a small, jolly boat. One of the ones, the really small ones that only have one mast and and a small sail, and it seems to be sailing very close to the shore. But then the moon goes away again, and everything is plunged into darkness. But what you do notice is it hasn't set any lights, so
it doesn't want to be seen.
And possibly that's why they were signaling, because they probably saw something, turned on the lights so that they wouldn't crash into the small ship, because this big ship would just have plowed it under. It would have just hit it, and the other one would have gone down.
She will just think to herself, that's something to be checked on tomorrow. Maybe a boat was stolen or something like that. Someone try to get away with it. Let's see.
Yeah. And then, some more drinks are offered. And then, of course, as the evening closes, people move on to brandy. And you're offered a brandy. Interestingly enough, Dottie declines. But you I don't know, do you take some of the brandy that's offered?
I think...
And there are, of course, biscuits with it.
Alice is at the point where she knows that if she goes on drinking like this, she will be drunk and useless tomorrow, and she needs to be fit. So she will take one brandy, but just a small one. And
they actually give you the glass and the bottle to help yourself.
Okay.
So you can pour
I can just a little bit so that it's polite, but more than just having something in the hand. And also, surprisingly, not Alice, but what she will do, I think, not so late into the evening, she would excuse herself that she's kind of tired after the long day.
Yeah, I mean, it's now about 11 o'clock, and people are already kind of like, especially the Martinses, because she still wants to look in on the children.
Yeah.
And everybody has had a long day. and they had to
And we need to
travel
get up
down from
tomorrow
New
morning.
York, and that kind of thing. And they do want to also, you hear this, they kind of want to wake up a little bit early tomorrow to make the most of the week. Like,
Yeah, like we all do.
this is not about relaxing. This is about having organized fun, starting at 7 sharp. And so everybody says their good nights, and the Sterlings shake everyone's hands, and they are genuinely happy. They were basically holding hands all evening. I mean, as soon as nobody was sitting in their in the places where they had been put in the beginning, they were holding hands, and that kind of thing. They are madly in love.
They're freshly married.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing, and but they are positively beaming at everyone, and you have the feeling that they really enjoyed the fact that they had guests and that they could entertain people, and that people, shared in this moment with them. So they glow even more than they did on the train.
Alice definitely will say a big thank you for the wonderful evening. It was really a perfect start into this week.
Oh yes, well, the pleasure was all ours. And it was so lovely to be able to share this with you. And we will be neighbors for the next 7 days, and maybe we will just have time for a coffee at some point. If you ever happen to be in your chalet when we're in, we can just maybe arrange something. That would be really lovely.
It would be definitely lovely. Let's definitely try to do this during the week. We must find time for that. Then have a lovely, restful night.
And, you as well, Miss Baker. You as well.
We will see you around, and she will probably grab Dottie. No, but I guess Dottie would leave together with Alice.
No,
probably.
I mean the two. Yeah, she is. She's already ready to leave. She has also said her goodbyes, and she's just waiting for you. And then once you're done, she also says goodbye to the Sterlings, and then she follows you to your house.
On the way, she would already be like, Dottie, did you see that thing on the water?
You mean this? She actually also rolled a hard success. You mean that small boat? That was odd.
That is why you are my right hand. You're just as good at spotting things that I am. Yeah. I think tomorrow we should maybe ask around if some boat was stolen or something like that. Because
it is quite late, and there was no lights on the boat.
The no lights thing, because I could imagine maybe someone having a boat here wanting to go out, but they would be out with a light during this time of day. So something happened that shouldn't have happened, probably. So let's see. Tomorrow morning we should definitely try to get up quite early. We have a long to-do list to check on things and to shop for some food.
Yes, I've got a very long list of things that we need to buy. But having said this, as I said earlier, for a bachelor, Matthew did quite a good job.
That is lovely to hear. I really hope we can tell him himself soon.
At this, she looks at you a little bit concerned. She takes your hand and she said, I'm sure we will.
Good. Then let's get some sleep, get some strength back. And more tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. With sunshine, everything is a bit nicer.
Yeah, that's true. And basically, you both have keys, so whoever gets to the door first. I mean, I don't even know if you locked it. Oh, no, she did lock it. She did lock it. Yeah, she did lock it. So whoever gets to the door first will unlock it. You go inside. She locks from the inside, and basically, you do your normal routine of checking every single window.
I do that everywhere.
Yeah, and then you go to your room. She goes to her room, and yeah. Unless you want to do anything, because she's just gonna go to bed.
Yeah, for Alice as well. Going to bed, getting sleep, and seeing what the next day brings.
Okay, so you go to bed, you sleep, you fall asleep, and now you can give me a listen roll, please.
Oh, goodness gracious. That is never a good thing. while you're sleeping. And that is definitely a big no.
And also a big no for she rolled a 96.
Well, I only rolled a 72, but still it's too far away.
She's like completely out.
I am partially drunk, so I'm just sleeping.
Okay, so you sleep really deeply.
Yep.
However, suddenly you hear a piercing scream. You wake up with a start. You sit up.
Yes.
And now you can do something. I would like you to roll wits and composure, but that's a different system.
That's a different system.
Well, I guess stability. Sanity. Yeah, roll sanity.
Oh, goodness gracious. That is also big no.
Okay, so for about 5 seconds, you are unable to realize where you are. You kind of look around, you jump from your bed, and sometimes this feeling that you have, like, where am I? When am I? And who am I after all?
Is it still dark outside, or is...
It is just coming up to light, but the problem is you've closed your curtains, so it is fairly dark in the room. Yeah. So it's sometimes when you wake up with a real start, you have, and especially if you're in a new environment because you just traveled here, this is the first night, you kind of have this feeling of disorientation. Let's see how Dottie is doing. Oh, with a 25, she actually wakes up and she's fully composed.
Well, she hasn't drunk.
Yeah, she did have some wine, but not as much as you. And you hear the screaming again. It's coming from the outside.
Okay, so after orientation, that it's not Dottie, it's not basically from next door. That is helping. Alice would grab her morning robe, just throw it over, and storm out, probably bumping into Dottie, who's doing the same.
Yeah, she's
even quicker because
as well, and she's basically tying it around the waist, and she's like, "What is going on in the name of Jesus Christ?"
I have no idea. It sounds like it's from outside, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it sounds like somebody is in terror or in pain. And she runs down the stairs and she grabs the key and she puts it in the door, unlocks the door, and storms outside.
Alice grabs her walking cane, but the one with the swordy pokey thing in it, and is following.
Okay, so basically, the screaming continues, and it's quite easy to follow. It's definitely coming from ahead of you. So that would imply the beach because you can't see anyone outside. And you can see that there is movement in the other chalets, and Dottie was actually quicker than everyone, and she's looking over the railing, over the fencing, and she says, "There's somebody down there. There's somebody down there." And she's straining her eyes. "I can't tell who, though." And she runs to the stairs. And then she turns around and waits for you to catch up.
I am trying my best, but I'm definitely not as quick as she is.
Yeah, so she's waiting, and you catch up with her, and then the two of you go down. And she's like, "Careful there, because it is quite steep," and it is quite steep.
I will try my best not to fall over, but not to be too slow. It will be...
Yeah. But this is one of the things that you still find difficult, because with the stairs, of course, you need your knees to be... Yeah, and these stairs are uneven because they've really been... It's lovely. They've been cut into the stone wall, into the cliff face. But if you have trouble walking or bending your knee, it's beautiful but impractical.
During normal daytime, when there's no rush, it would be a nice walk probably. Yeah. But now trying to be quick.
And so she basically runs down the stairs, and you can see now that there is somebody standing there and looking at something. And now you can do a spot hidden to see if you can tell who it is.
Okay. Ooh, that's better. That is a hard success.
This is Mrs. Martin in a bathing suit. who's standing there, screaming.
I would just yell over, Miss Martin, what is going on?
And she turns around, she has like this, like almost like in the painting, the scream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she's like, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. And she's completely hysterical.
Who is Dottie? Try to, and Alice will just walk on because she would suspect.
So Dottie is running towards her and
towards
it's basically
the water.
So you are basically
passing her
away from her.
Yeah.
She's got her eyes on the prize, and the prize is Mrs. Martin, whom she is going to envelop in a huge bear hug and try to calm down. And you're basically going around to try and see what Mrs. Martin has been looking at.
Yep.
So Dottie, let's see if she succeeds. Yeah, we are looking at, possibly dexterity. With a 42, yeah. So the maneuver works. So she basically manages to get to her and steer her away from it. From whatever it is that she's looking at.
I think it's enough to just turn around and get...
Yeah. She's already turned around, but she wants to ensure that she doesn't turn back when you walk past her. And then she does her normal routine of trying to soothe her, and she's very good at this.
I know.
And she can do this quite well.
She's much better in this than I am.
And with a 12, that's almost a hard success. That's almost a critical success. She really manages to,
breathe.
Yeah, and she moves her away very gently but very purposefully towards the stairs.
Okay.
So
I'm walking towards, I guess, probably the water.
Yeah, on the shore.
Mm-hmm.
Quite close to the waterline, but already on the shore, you can see a lot of seaweed. You know what it looks like. It's a normal Atlantic shore, so there is seaweed. And obviously the tide is on the way out.
Okay.
So it has washed lots of stuff in and deposited it there. It's now moving out. And amongst the seaweed, you can see a body. There's a dead body.
I'm taking a deep breath, going closer. First of all, to get an idea, I guess it would be a male because she was screaming, he is dead, but...
Yeah. You can... first of all, you need to do a stability check to see how you feel about it, because he looks not good.
I'm fine with sanity.
Okay, good. So, no problem. He is very bloated.
Okay.
He may have been nibbled on by some fish. He's definitely male. And when you look at it, you can tell that he's wearing a sailor's uniform.
Okay.
And on it, when you look, they've you know how they sometimes have those emblems on their uniform that tell the name of the ship?
Yep.
That they belong to. This one is called Mary Brown. You can, if you like, you can do a medicine roll to find out more about the dead body.
She would. And honestly, she would take a breath of being relieved because she was not sure if now Mr. Martin would be there, which is obviously not, or if her dearest Matthew would be there. That was her two first ideas. Yeah. Oh God, please don't let them be.
You have never seen this man before. He looks nothing like anyone you've ever seen.
Alice is much calmer now, which is not nice, but still. Her biggest worry it does. Did not come up, so this is... She's now thinking about if that was related to what happened yesterday, if that sailor was on the boat and he tried to get away from... We don't know what the ship was named. So, let's see. Medicine... Nope.
Okay. As you look at him, Dottie comes back. And she says, she's being looked after by her husband now. I recommended some brandy.
That I'm glad it was not her husband. In the initial idea, I was like, oh, please don't let it be Mr. Martin.
She looks at him. Stability. She's fine.
Good. I trained her
It's not
well.
somebody I recognize. Do you know him?
No, thank goodness not. My second worry was, please don't let it be Matthew. It looks like a sailor, and it looks like he belonged to the ship Mary Brown.
Do you know the Mary Brown?
I don't, but I'm curious if it's related to what we saw yesterday evening. A sailor.
Oh, you mean last night when the boat... Oh, do you think he went overboard?
Maybe they were looking for him, but gave up because they couldn't see anything, or he tried to flee on the little dark boat and they searched for him and he didn't make it. I'm not
She kneels
sure.
down next to him. You can give a spot hidden to check the body. Oh, 38, that's not bad. That's a normal success for her.
Normal success for me as well.
You notice, first of all, that there are blood spots. So basically he's got like the blue sailor's uniform, but you know that there's also white.
Yeah.
And especially here you can see where the collar is white, that there is blood. So obviously he was bleeding while he was still alive. And you can see that he's got wounds all over. Like somebody pricked him or stabbed him, or maybe birds picked at him. It's not clear, but there are wounds all over. And as you look closer, you see that there are splinters of wood in some of the wounds. Quite long, 2-3 centimeters long, so 1 inch thereabouts. Wow. So that's quite long. And as you take one of them, you see that it says MY on them in a really strange curvy script, which you can remember if you look at idea, if you succeed at an idea roll.
Let's see. No. Sadly enough, that was a 96.
You have no idea.
I have no idea. I'm still hungover.
How do you think he died? Did he drown?
I'm not sure.
Well, I guess somebody needs to call the police.
Definitely.
Perhaps we can ask the Sterlings if they would drive into town, because that would be quicker than us walking.
I think that would be much, much quicker than us walking. Alice will... It's a question, how much is it on the shore? Would we worry that it's pulled back into the ocean, or
the tide is already going out and it's not even washing near him anymore.
Okay, good. Then we don't have to worry, because Alice was like, oh god, we have to... No, we don't pull him closer. Then, I guess... Do we leave him here? Well, he can't run away.
Well, maybe we could get a blanket or something. Not, so. Let's. Once the birds are coming in, I mean.
Yeah. No. Very.
He's a found feast for any seagull.
Very true. Then let's get back up. And since you are much quicker than I am, it's a question if you would. Oh, we do it together. Grab a blanket. I will talk to the Sterlings, and then we will cover him.
Yeah. How about you talk to the Sterlings and I take a blanket down here and put it over?
Are you okay to do it on your own? I know this is not the.
Oh, I'll be fine.
Okay.
It's as you said, it's nobody we know, and it could be that it's really just somebody going overboard, which is a tragedy, but it's not sinister. It's an accident.
Yeah, but these wounds don't look like an accident.
I'm still hope. Well, yeah, of course, with the wood and all.
We will, but let's call the police. It's a job for them. It's not our job. So
yeah, because we have to find out what happened to Matthew.
Yes.
Mr. Gregory is still missing, and luckily and thank God that's not him.
The thing is, when I have to go to the police later anyhow, I can just ask, as well as if they know what happened here. Just 2 things in one. Let's get back up.
Okay, so the two of you walk up the stairs, and then you split up. You go to the Sterlings. She goes to your place.
Yep.
And you probably are going to meet up there later. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm knocking at the door, probably with the end of my cane because it's a bit louder.
Mr. Sterling is already up, as is his wife. They are dressed, and they said, "Well, we heard what happened. Good morning. I hope you are okay, Miss Baker. Is everything fine? Is Miss Williams all right?"
Yeah, we are both fine. There is a dead sailor on the shore. That's what Miss Martin has seen. It's quite a shocking...
Darling, do sit down, and he talks to his wife.
It would be the question if since you have the car, if you could drive into town and talk to the police.
Oh, quite, of course,
because we don't have phones here, and Dottie and I will make sure that the body is covered, that the seagulls are not having a breakfast feast.
Are you sure are you sure, Miss Baker,
yes.
that Miss Williams is up to the challenge?
Oh, believe me.
She is quite young.
But believe me, she is stubborn. If she wants to do it, she does it.
He gives you a slight smile, and then he says, quite.
It's the Irish blood in her veins.
At that, he says, well, yeah, being Scottish myself, I can tell it's the Celtic spirit. And he basically reaches to the side. So his hand is out of your sight. His hand is out of your sight, and he comes back, and he's holding a key. And he's like, I will just get into the car straight away, and I'll drive in to get to the police, and I will tell them to come down. Just tell them
it's down at the shore.
I assume that a medic would not be of any help at this stage?
No. There's no life in that poor soul anymore. So definitely a coroner would be the better thing to do. And you can also tell them we will, as I said, we will cover the body to make sure that the animals are not going for it.
Quite. He turns around and says, darling, I'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
And she says, should I go down and check? It's like, no, there is nothing for you to see there. There is nothing you can do. And then he turns around and says, my wife's a nurse, but as you just said,
I've honestly, I have a little bit of medical knowledge as well. That body has been dead for at least a few hours.
All right, and she basically says, all right then, and then he walks out. He closes the door behind him, gets into the car, and drives off towards the village.
Alice will just look at Miss Sterling. I will have a quick look if Miss Martin is okay, and then I guess breakfast, because, well, we wanted to get up early, all of us. It would have been nice to be nicely wakened. But poor Miss Martin, what a shock.
You go to the Martinses, and Mrs. Martin is actually hysterical. And you kind of can piece together between sobs that she was out there swimming because she wanted to get an early start. And the thing was washed towards her as the tide came in and basically touched her in the water. You know how it's like, oh, something touched me in the water. I have no idea what it is. And then as the tide went out, it basically deposited the body. And she went to look what she had swam into, as it were, and then she saw this thing, and on top of it all, not only is it a dead person, but it's also a very disgusting experience.
Yeah.
And she's hysterical, and she's talking about leaving, and she wants to go home, and her husband is kind of trying to calm her down, and she's downing brandies at this stage.
Alice would probably just try to kneel next to her, just taking one of her hand. Mm-hmm. Dear, you maybe should just get a tea now, and maybe a hot bath, something relaxing. Treat yourself.
Looks at you through bleary eyes.
It was a horrible sight. I can't even imagine what you're going through.
Yeah, maybe some tea.
I think
and
some
she looks
tea.
at her husband, and he's like, "Yes, darling, tea." And he looks around a little bit helplessly in the kitchen.
Sorry, I can do the tea. That's not to worry. Maybe you can start a bath for your wife.
Yes, bath. Not a problem at all. I'll draw a bath. And he walks up
And
And
I
soon
will
enough
just
you hear water running.
make a tea, and probably I will just ask her to just to distract her. Like, okay, where? Okay, the tea, which drawer, which cupboard, which, just to keep her into normal, get her into normal things. Let's see if it helps.
That worked really well. She does fall for the ploy.
Okay.
She gets up and she concentrates on, the normal things. She goes to the drawer, she opens the drawer. You can see that there's tea in there, and she says, she gives you so basically they don't have tea bags like back then.
Yeah, loose tea.
So loose tea, and
I will set up some water.
yeah, and she puts the tea, the loose leaves into the pot.
Yeah.
You wait for the water to boil, you pour the water, and then it seeps, and then you start pouring using a sieve so it goes through and the tea leaves are caught, and she has a lovely cup of black tea.
And probably I will just make light conversations, like asking maybe about her kids and how they're doing, and that they are very well behaved. It's really nice to see that the younglings
gets
today
a little smile out of her.
are can behave very well, so they will have a bright future. You did a great job with them.
She is pleasantly, I don't want to say surprised, but the whole thing is very pleasant for her. So you can see that she is relaxing. She is calming down. She stopped crying now. Yeah. And you think that she will probably overcome this shock, but it's a shock nonetheless.
It's a shock nonetheless, especially for someone who, well, if she wasn't, no, but she probably never seen a dead body, especially not like that. I think everyone would be just like, oh God, you're not thinking of this when you go swimming.
Yeah.
Dead fish, okay.
Well, she does confirm that she's never seen a dead body before.
It's a horrific sight.
She's a secretary, so...
Okay, it's a horrific sight. Maybe honestly, I think even Alice or anyone else would have been like, not happy about this.
Yeah.
So Alice will keep company until Mr. Baker comes back down. And
that is about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes later. He says, well, dear, I've drawn a bath and it's ready for you. And he holds out his hand, and she gets up, takes his hand, and he leads her up the stairs.
And Alice will just slip out, and we'll just go back over to our place. And see if Dottie is already back.
Dottie is back, and she is preparing breakfast.
Okay, Mr. Sterling is out to get the police. We could stop Mrs. Sterling from checking in because she's a nurse. She was wanting to know if she could do anything. I told her no. And
also in her condition, she might not want to. Basically, she should rest up.
Yeah.
She's expecting.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hear that, I think.
It's not like I was going to tell her. I hope she knows herself.
I did, and I think she knows, but she was not happy that I've seen it. But hey, Miss Martin is a bit better now.
It must have been quite a shock.
Oh, she was out of her mind when I got there, but with some... what I learned from you. Talk about light things like, please help me make the tea. And her husband let in a hot bath. And just talking about her children. She calmed down a bit.
You see, it works wonders.
Yeah, it's a question who's assistant sometimes. I'm learning from you a lot.
So maybe you can use those new skills and put them to use when you speak with your mother the next time.
No. Nice try. No.
She smiles and hands you a cup of tea.
Alice is looking at the cup of tea and just like, okay, maybe coffee afterwards?
First you drink the tea, and then we can see about coffee. And do sit down, and there is sandwiches.
Okay.
And toast.
I'm sitting
and butter.
down. I'm drinking tea. That's it.
You're going to have to eat something.
Let me have the tea. Then I will get dressed. Then we can have coffee and sandwich.
Good.
Then we are leaving.
Good. She watches you like a hawk.
Alice does exactly what she says. She's drinking the tea, then getting up, making herself ready, getting into a light linen suit or light linen dress, and just like light shoes as well, because she suspects also today it will be quite warm as yesterday. And then she will go back to the kitchen in hope to get coffee. If not, she will make coffee herself because she knows how to do coffee. She will.
But actually, Dottie's standing there with the coffee in her hand, and she holds it up quite high, and she says, "First the sandwich, then the coffee."
Alice takes the sandwich, takes one bite, and then
She
holds
gives you
out
the
the
coffee.
hand for the coffee.
She gives you the coffee.
And she will sit down and she will eat one sandwich and drowns the
Dottie
coffee.
approves.
And then, after breakfast, I guess, we are ready for a walk back to the city. Well, city, town.
Town, yeah. There are people who can remember when it was still just a village.
It feels like a village when you're coming from New York.
It does. Yeah, anything feels like a village when you come from New York. Isn't there even a place within New York that's called Greenwich Village? Isn't that even a borough? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole district, a really beautiful district.
And so basically the two of you finish your breakfast. She doesn't mention eating again once you've finished your sandwich. She does pour more coffee.
Taking down.
And then when you're done, when you're both done and ready to go, you leave. And interestingly enough, in all of this time, you have looked at either your pocket watch or a clock in the house, so you know that by the time you got back from everything, it was about 7 o'clock. So the whole thing started at around 6, possibly.
Yep.
Not much earlier than that, but it also didn't take you more than an hour to find the body, get Mr. Sterling to go into town, talk to the lady, because it's not that far away. The places aren't that far away. So it's now, I would say, probably 8:30, 8:45.
That's good time.
And you set out to walk back into Simmon Strand.
Yep.
You'd probably take the coast path, because there is the road as well. But
we take the coast path.
Okay.
At least I know that way.
You do.
But that means also we are getting close to the beach again, at least with you.
No, you're walking basically above the beach. You could.
But we can look down what is happening at the beach. So Alice would at least peek down to the beach and see if the police are there, or if
there are 2 people there who have a stretcher, and they are putting a bundle, which is the man.
Then it's taken care
onto it, and you can see like these movements where they probably tying him, fastening something so that he doesn't fall off, and then they start moving the body.
Okay, taken care of. That's most important. Not that now another family or one of the Martin kids sneaks off to get to the beach and sees Dad.
Yeah. And you can also see a police. It's not even a car, it's a van.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a bike.
Okay.
So the bike actually has a little sign on it, and it says police. And the van has writing on it. 23. How unlucky, it's the butcher's van.
Okay. Well, the small village needs to be creative.
Yeah. So, obviously they don't have a coroner, or they don't have maybe. At
least not a transportation.
Maybe the one funerary home is unavailable because they're dealing with somebody else's funeral. So yeah. And then you walk along the coast. It's a beautiful morning. It's sunny. It's slightly breezy. It's just right. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just nice. And of course, Dottie, has never been here because she came by car.
Yep.
So she's admiring the view and she's enjoying herself.
Okay. I am just, again, holding eyes open. Basically, every male figure that halfway has the right height is like scanned like, is it someone, a special person that I know? Probably not.
Give me a spot hidden.
Let's see. Why am I rolling high or very good when it's not necessary because it's useless? Anyhow, I rolled a 7, which is a critical success.
You can't see anyone who looks...
I know.
I mean, the one thing that you do is you see men who basically have the right height. But since you look so closely, you can tell almost immediately, oh, that one's hair is wrong, that one's too young, that one's too old, that one has a funny walk. So, no.
So, Dottie, how do we want to do it? Do you want to do the shopping? I would go to the police, and then we maybe meet up at Mr. Morton. At Mr. Morton's office. It's opposite to the hotel. Quite easy to find.
Sure. Okay. So I'm going to do some shopping, and I'm going to... I mean, they did say that there was fresh fish available at the harbour every day. So that would be my first stop. And then I'm going to go to the grocery store, and then I'm going to go to Mr. Morton's. If I'm there before you, will I just... Oh, well, he knows me anyway. He saw me yesterday, so he will remember. So will I just ask for him?
Yeah, ask for him. And if you are there before me, just ask him... tell him what happened, because it happened basically on his private beach, so maybe he didn't hear yet, but I'm quite sure the police will talk to him. Maybe, I'm not sure. But also, maybe ask him if Matthew got a car from him.
Oh yes, I can do that.
Because there are not much places you can get a car from, so... And Matthew would have asked, definitely, Mr. Morton for a car. And I think by then I'm definitely back. If not, I'm at the police station, which is also, like everything here, right around the corner.
Yes, yeah, we will. But maybe, we should say, if you're not back by 12, I will just walk back because the fish is going to go off.
Oh yes, do so. Oh, that's true. I'm just thinking about maybe do the shopping and go back, but.
Well, I can do the shopping and I can go back and then I can meet you later.
That might be a good idea.
So where were you planning on going? So you wanted to go to the police then you wanted
first,
to go to Mr.
Morton, and then to the library.
So how about we meet at the library at 12 o'clock?
That sounds like a very good plan.
So she looks at so basically you left at 8:30, so it's now 9 o'clock. If she does the shopping, it's going to take her an hour and a half, 10:30. Walking there is 11. Coming back is 11:30.
We can meet
in time for lunch.
And we can grab some lunch.
You could meet at 12 at the library, have lunch, and then...
Yep, that's the idea. Cool. Then let's do that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm not joining you, but yeah, I really want to see if we can find them.
You can actually tell that she's not so sorry because she likes shopping for food on her own so that nobody gets in the way, because everybody just doesn't know what they need to get, and she is a quick shopper.
Then have fun.
I don't think you've ever been grocery shopping with her where she asked you to go. It was more like, oh, I'm gonna join you, and it's like,
yeah, okay, let's do that. Or it's on the way, it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So she's beaming at you, and so she runs. Well, she doesn't run, but she walks very quickly with a spring in her step towards the harbour, where it says Harbour Market. Okay, so you go to the police. Yes. It's easy to find. It says police outside. There's a police bike parked there. It says police on the bike. And what do?
I will go inside.
Mm-hmm.
If the door is open,
The door is open. You walk in, there is a man sitting there behind a desk in a uniform, and he's got like a moustache, and he looks a little bit like a seal with his moustache, and he's a bit he's a bit stocky, broad, short. He looks like a barrel with a head, to be quite honest. And he looks at you and he says, "Oh, madam, can I help you? Did you lose your handbag?"
No. Good morning. I'm here in two regards. I'm sorry to say, because that's quite a lot, probably. Let's start with the
Oh, do sit down. Do sit down. Do
E-
sit down.
e-
You're not from around here, are you?
I'm not. I just arrived yesterday.
Oh, and you already have dealings with the police.
Well, that's mainly because of the second part. But first of all, we were one of the people that found the body at the beach this morning.
Oh, I am so sorry. How are you doing, madam?
I
And
am-
would you like a cup of tea?
No, I had a lot of tea today already. I'm doing fine. Also the poor Miss Martin who found the body initially is doing better. We managed to calm her down.
Oh, yes, we spoke to her. It's a most unpleasant thing.
What a way to start a weekend or the
on
week, right?
any given day, but for a lady to have to look at such a terrible sight, I mean, this is going to be so difficult for her to overcome.
She has a wonderful husband and two adorable children, so she has something to hold on to. And honestly, it's still amazingly beautiful out there. So I'm sure.
And
she
you
will
saw
make
the sight as well. Oh, it's. Where were all the men? Where are the men when the women need protecting? They're not there.
Well, it was just a body. We don't need protection from that. It couldn't attack us or
He
thing
looks
like
at
that.
you kind of like, what?
Well, I only need protection from people that are attacking me or want to steal things from me. That is where a man is quite helpful. With that, a man is as
That is what the
useless as
city
I
does
am.
to women. They lose the purity of their souls.
Well, maybe that's a difference between our city dwellers and you here out in a nice, calm, ocean view village. Town. I'm sorry, town. Oh god. I should have drank more coffee. I was just curious. Do you have like notice on what kind of ships are going past here? Because yesterday evening, late evening, we saw a big ship going past the coast, and it was searching maybe for something. They had lights, extra lights out, scanning the water.
Let's see if he knows anything. Last night you say?
Yeah. We had
Well, I mean, this is a shipping route.
Yeah, they were traveling north.
There are always ships leaving Port Arlington to go north.
But
Port Arlington is one of the places that you stopped in.
Yeah, that was where the car was split up. Right?
Yeah, where the carriage was decoupled. I honestly can't tell you which ship would have passed last night. You would have to talk to the harbor master. He would definitely be able to tell you, because obviously they man the lighthouse, so they kind of know who goes by when. But it wouldn't be unusual for ships. I mean, when you say ship, I mean,
it was quite
you
a big
probably
ship.
mean a merchant ship.
Maybe it was big.
Well, yes, that wouldn't be a surprise, because we do have this main shipping route passing by the village, the town.
The harbor master, from here or from?
Yes, no, the harbor master in the harbor.
Okay. Then.
Because basically we have this big lighthouse, and of course we need to know who's leaving when, because we've got all of those shipping vessels. They come in here, and some of them are fairly large. Of course, nothing compared to Port Arlington, because Port Arlington has a very big harbour. For merchant ships, they don't stop here, but our harbour master knows.
Okay, then maybe I will step in later. I'm just curious, just by any chance, was there a boat stolen yesterday evening or this morning?
A boat stolen?
Yeah, well, I'm just...
Not to my knowledge. Okay. I mean, nobody has reported a boat stolen. I mean, I would take exception to somebody stealing boats. I mean, that's illegal.
Exactly. That. Well, I was just curious, because we might have seen a boat out there, but I'm not sure. It was dark after the other ship left, so just curious. But
do you think the man who you found this morning, or what was her name, Mrs. Martin, found, was the man who stole the boat?
It may be, I'm not sure. It might have been an idea. Maybe he just fell off the boat that passed by. Maybe that's why they were looking for
I mean, I can categorically state that I have not received any man overboard notices.
That is also weird because
They
they would have
they would
informed.
definitely come in by and he's quite proud, by telegraph.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, they would have mentioned that if they have lost a sailor near our
Well, they would
coast.
have to, because then, of course, our harbour master would launch the sea rescue.
Yeah.
We do have sea rescue boats, like two. We have two sea rescue vessels here in the. So he basically tries to not call it a village, but he doesn't succeed. In the town.
Well, that is good.
The lifeboats, you know.
That is good
We're
to
very
know.
proud of them.
As a guest.
And he basically points to a little box that says "Support our lifeboats."
That is good to know as a guest in this beautiful place.
He expects you to make a donation, you think?
Alice will think about that. There are still things to clarify. Let's see how it goes. So far, he has been quite helpful.
You're a tough cookie.
I am a tough cookie. Hey, in New York, every second... but a lot of people want to have money for something, so you have to choose wisely. Well, the second thing is more sincere. That's honestly why I initially wanted to come here. Anyhow, I did not plan on what happened this morning. That's still something I would have easily not wanted to deal with. We are here also to visit a friend that is here as a guest of Mr. Morton. Basically, it's his lawyer. He's making some property papers and he's here for 4 weeks and he's gone missing. Because
Are you sure that he's not the dead body?
I am definitely sure it's not the dead body. I looked at the body. I know he's one of my best friends. I know him well. It's not him.
So you can't even shed any light on who this person might be?
I have no idea who the body at the beach is.
Well,
never seen him
and your
before.
friend is missing. Do you think that he's got something to do with the dead body on the beach?
No. I think that's two different topics happening. My friend Matthew was planned to pick us up yesterday when we arrived by train. And he's a very peculiar on-time person. He's very organized, always on time. Very, well, honestly to say, just like a very good lawyer is. And Mr. Morton hasn't seen him. They also have the next meeting on Monday, I think, or Tuesday. And but it's not like him not being there. And the hotel manager, he's staying at the Murphy's Hotel.
You spoke to Mr. Crickleshank.
Exactly. Mr. Crickleshank was kind enough that we together had a look at Matthew's room there, because I just wanted to have a look if his stuff is still there. And obviously, Mr. Crickleshank, as being a very good manager, didn't let me in there on my own. He was with me the whole time. And we've seen all his stuff is still there. So he did not just leave without saying anything. And his office, which is the next room next door, was basically upside down. We could not find that anything was stolen, but it's not like him. And since he's...
So what are you implying?
I just know that he's missing. He should be here. He's not. Period.
And when was he last seen?
Well, we last heard him on Wednesday, and he was last seen, as far as I know, also on Wednesday evening. That was the last time anyone I spoke to confirmed on having seen him.
Well, maybe he's been traveling around the area. It is quite lovely.
But he's
there are many sights to see.
But he's here for work. He's not here on vacation.
Well, but you know you can take a day off here or there.
He is not that kind of lawyer. And he would not leave his office in a mess. Someone was in that office. And he honestly, as I said, he's one of my best friends. He would not just let us sit at the train station without at least organizing someone who can pick us up.
Ms. Baker.
Yes.
Your friend, Mr. What's his last name? Gregory.
Gregory.
Mr. Gregory.
Yes. Matthew Gregory.
He is of age. So he can legally come and go as he pleases.
Yes. He's still missing. You are here to file missing person reports.
Give me
At least
some kind of psychology, some kind of social skill roll.
she will add to this, at least the police in New York is taking care of people that are lost.
His moustache bristles.
That is fine. She's ready to annoy him, and she would go with, let's see. It's a question if she wants to intimidate him or persuade. No? Is it intimidation? No, it's more persuasion. I think she wants to go. She will not scare the police guy. That will not go well. But she wants to push him into the right direction. With words, obviously. So I think persuasion would be the role, wouldn't it?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh boy. Oh god, I shouldn't shake my screen. Good. That is a success, at least.
Well, Ms. Baker, I've been a police officer in this town for the last 30 years. We've never had anyone disappear or go missing. Unless, of course, they were drunk and fell over the cliff, in which case they weren't missing for long. And everybody knew where they had gone. We were just waiting for the body to be swept ashore, if you know what I mean.
I totally know what you mean. Sadly, there's always a first time. It's probably also the first time you have a dead sailor at the shore. Maybe not, after what you said. Also, you know that the sailor did not probably die by falling over. I'm not sure if you've seen the body at all.
No, it's gone to the coroner, one town over in Port Arlington.
The coroner will definitely find the traces that he was stabbed multiple times and there was blood.
He was stabbed?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
I have eyes.
You really did look at that body, Miss Baker, didn't you?
I wanted to make sure that he's really dead and we can't help him. It would have been horrible if poor Miss Martin would have thought, oh god, it's a dead body, and we would have learned later on, oh, he was still alive. We could have saved him.
I've always said, women lose the purity of their soul when they move into the big cities. They should all stay outside. Well, all right. And he's getting kind of slowly but surely upset / annoyed, and he takes out a piece of paper and he says, all right then, name.
Matthew Gregory. Or probably
Age.
Matthew, like, he probably has multiple names in between.
He probably does.
Age is a good question. 38?
How old are you again?
36. So
Okay,
I'll guess Matthew is a
similar
similar age.
38. Occupation. Lawyer.
Exactly.
Attorney at law. Solicitor. So he writes down solicitor. Place of abode. And you give him his New York address.
The New York address, exactly. I can also give him the address of his law firm.
And he takes all of this down.
I can also give him the phone number of his assistant if he has questions. She knows everything on why he's here and when it was planned and when she last heard of him.
So last seen 5th of Wednesday, 5th of June 1930. He writes all of this down. Currently resides at the Murphy's Hotel.
Yep. I will give him the room
Strand.
numbers as well.
He writes all of this down. He says, very well, I shall investigate this matter. Where can I reach you when I find him?
Just give Mr. Morton the information. He knows how to reach me because we are at the new chalets Mr. Morton set up, but they don't have a phone, so... You could also send a messenger up to the chalet if you want.
Very well. And
you so much.
Yes, indeed. Will that be all?
Yes, sorry to disturb your day. Alice is definitely not giving some money. She's turning around. She is like, he will not do crap shit. You pointed out quite
Poor
clearly.
lifeboat guys are waiting for you to give money for a good cause.
The thing is,
you're just
she
walking up because you don't like the
she
police.
has the tiny hope that maybe a similar thing is at the harbor or so, or she can give it to the harbor master or so. She's not against the lifeboat situation, that's a good thing. But she's not helping the police guy because he will not be helpful at all. She is like, she knows police is difficult, especially if a woman comes in and is hysterical.
And you didn't even show him your business card.
No.
Just imagine what would have happened.
Oh god, he would
probably have had like a heart attack.
Yeah,
then and
probably. There. And honestly, he is definitely not taking this seriously. He thinks I'm just a crazy mad woman that is like, oh god, my I have no idea what is there. She will take a deep breath and she will walk over to Mr. Morton's office.
Okay, you go to Mr. Morton's office. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you arrive and you walk in. So it's because it's basically a business.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, it's open on the Saturday.
I will take that as a win. When I step inside, do I see him, or is there like a secretary or something like that?
There are two people who are working there, and when you look at what they are doing, they seem to be draftsmen. They are drafting building plans, which makes sense because he's a builder-developer.
Then Alice will just peek in like a good morning.
One of them looks up. Yes, excuse me, how can I help you, miss?
I'm just curious, do you know if Mr. Morton is in or will come in today?
Oh, yes, Mr. Morton's in, yes. In what regard would you like to speak to him?
About his lawyer. I'm Miss Baker, he knows me.
All right, Miss Baker, why don't you sit down and I'll find out if he can see you now.
Thank you
and
very,
he points
very,
to a
very
chair.
much.
I mean, this is obviously not a place where they have visitors, so it's like a rickety chair somewhere in the corner.
I'm fine with that. I'm giving him a bright, friendly smile and sitting down in a chair, just waiting.
And he walks out and he turns a corner and you hear him. And then you hear a door open and close, and then open again, close again, steps, and he's like, "Yes, Mr. Morton will see you now.
Thank
Please,
you.
if you'd like to follow me."
Thank you so much, and I'm following him.
And there's a door. It's nondescript. There is no signage or anything. He just knocks again.
Yep.
Calm, opens the door, holds it for you, doesn't step inside. Once you're in, he closes it again and leaves.
Thank you so much. And
oh, Miss Baker, hello.
Good
How are you this
morning.
morning? Any news from Matthew?
No. Sadly, so. A few things happened, and I thought maybe I should get you up to date. First of all, one thing that is, I pray to God, nothing to do with Matthew. If you haven't heard it, this morning at the beach at our chalets, a dead sailor got washed to the shore.
Oh my, this is most terrible. How did that happen?
We don't know. I saw the poor soul because Mrs. Martin was sadly the person to find him because she was taking an early swim and she bumped into him, basically. I think.
Oh my!
I think we calmed her, but yeah, she's quite shaken. They're discussing if they're staying or leaving.
As you would be.
But we called. The Sterlings were nice to drive into town and call the police. The police already took care of everything. So just that you know, because it's the beach to the land. I'm not sure if they will contact you as well. Just that.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. Nobody has contacted me yet. I had no idea. Well, I shall make sure that we send a bouquet of flowers to Mrs. Martin, and maybe a nice bottle of
brandy would be definitely something.
Yes, quite a bottle of brandy, and he makes a note.
That would be
brandy, flowers. Yes, I shall see to this myself.
perfect,
and
because
it'll be done today.
yeah, she
Oh
was
my!
really
And I hope, but I hope that you are all right. I mean, you are not involved in this at all. I hope.
no.
But
Well,
it wasn't Mr. Martin. It wasn't Mr. Gregory,
no,
was
no.
it?
It was, my first shock was it could have been Mr. Martin. No, it was not him, and it's also not Matthew. I've never seen that sailor person before, so
Oh
I
dear,
guess
oh
it's
dear.
two different things.
So you saw the body too?
Yeah, we heard Mrs. Martin scream like something awful was happening, which was, so we ran down to the beach and
This is most extraordinary. Can I offer you a drink?
no,
And he gets
no, just don't. We already had some time to process. This was quite early in the morning, and to be fair, it's not my first body I've seen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I
Don't
mean,
be sorry.
that
That's
death should touch a young soul like yours so frequently is
I'm a
terrible. I'm so
private
sorry.
investigator. Things happen.
You're a what?
I'm a private investigator, so things happen like that. Not
He
always,
needs to process this.
but from time to time.
He does not well.
The big friendly smile from Alice. It's obviously not a nice view, and it's not something I prefer to do, but it happens. But just that you know, that is the one thing.
He is a bit flustered because
Yeah.
you know you are probably, and you're not half his age, but you could be his daughter. He's about 60, so you know, and to
Yeah,
think
but
that
I'm not-
somebody, you know, that his daughter might be engaged in this kind of business and then see dead bodies, that's something that he finds absolutely impossible to process.
Yeah.
It does not compute.
No, this is yeah, but well, it's first of all, the chalets are really, really nice, and with all the nice food you gave us, the Sterlings, the Martins, and we had a lovely evening yesterday evening with very
I'm
good
so glad
food
to
and
hear
drinks. So we all feel most welcoming. We will ignore what happened this morning, but everything else is really on point, and the chalets are beautiful. So it was a very good investment on your side. You will get a lot
There's
of
quite a
people
lot
there.
of resilience in you to be able to put this behind you so easily.
I can't help that, poor man. It's at the coroner's office now. It's out of my hands. It happened. Moving on. I hope they find out who he is, and hope that they find family to inform, and I hope they find out how he died. Because I'm not sure if he drowned or not.
Well, surely he must have drowned if he was in the water.
Well, he was stabbed quite a bit, so I'm not sure about that. Not important.
What?
Police business.
Okay.
Not my business, not my case. But my case, basically, not even wanting to, but is Matthew. I've been in his room yesterday with the manager of the hotel, Mr. Crinkleshank or something like that.
Crickleshank.
He was, well, after some persuading words, nice enough to go into the room, and Matthew's office is with me. Matthew definitely still has all the stuff there, and his office looked like upside down. Do you have anyone who would be interested in your legal contract papers that Matthew's working on?
He gives a dry laugh. Of course, Murphy himself. That papist. He is trying to undermine everything I do. He has been since he moved in. If anyone is interested in what I do, it would be him. I mean, the whole town is interested in what I do because I'm trying to bring tourism to the place. I'm trying to develop the place. But people would welcome this. But of course, for him, I'm going to be his nemesis. I mean, he's got the hotel, but I'm building chalets, and I'm going to build a spa, and I'm going to, I'm going to develop this place even further, and he will find it very difficult to keep up.
The thing is, if you develop this, there will be enough visitors, at least from the city and around, that you can both live of it without any problems. And a lot of people will find work here. And people like me have lovely places to come back to.
Yeah, but he is somebody who doesn't share.
Okay, that makes it difficult. Just to calm you, I went through the contracts, not in detail to read on it or snoop on it, because Matthew knows best what he does. I'm not worried about that. I just wanted to make sure all the pages are still there, because Matthew is quite peculiar into preparing everything and having everything straight, and everything was also already pre-signed by him. So I guess that was probably what you both wanted to do beginning of next week. So
Quite. He wanted me to sign the papers
paperwork
that he had prepared.
looks quite finished and complete. So nothing was
Oh my!
stolen.
Then
at
he has
least.
been working very hard, because he wasn't supposed to finish this before Tuesday, because I was going to meet him on Tuesday to sign. But if it's now already ready to sign, so maybe he did take some time off because he had finished.
I honestly think he took time off because we were coming on Friday and he wanted to spend time with us. That was the plan.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because he never showed.
Exactly. I was at the police and filed a missing persons report on him. I highly doubt the police will do anything because the police officer is not a very productive person. But I'm 100% sure.
Who was it? Did you speak to Bruce?
He had like a seal face beard like thing.
That was
honestly
Bruce.
did not even ask for his name.
Yes, you met Bruce. Bruce Flanagan.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I filed an official report after basically telling him that at least in New York the police will take care of that, and then he started to write something down. But Matthew is definitely missing. He would never leave his stuff openly on the desk when he would be leaving for some days. He would have locked them away. He also would not have made a big mess on his desk. He's a very proper, clean, well-organized person. Maybe you noticed when you already worked with him. And when he says, I will pick you up and spend time with you, he's there. Or he at least sends a messenger with explanation on why he can't be there, or organizing someone to be picked up, like calling you, that when you pick the rest up, if you could also pick us up, because he would not just drop off the earth. That's not him. We will let us know on Monday, because then the official appointment starts, where he will not be showing up, as it seems.
Well, I mean, maybe he will. Maybe he will. He has got 2 days. Maybe he needed to... Well, having said this, since you arrived, why would he want to get away? Just scrap what I just said. It doesn't make sense. He should be here. I agree with you. I don't think that he just... I mean, even if he had gone for a drive, and even if he had a breakdown, at this stage, he should have been able to get a message through.
Because I heard the police has also, there's some Telegram here, so you can get messages through without any problem if you need them. But
the police told you we've got a telegraph.
Yes.
And they made it out like this was something special. I mean, what is this? This is the 1930s. I doubt that there is any town of this size anywhere in the United States that does not have a telegraph.
Yeah, and well, it's... He obviously
and yes, let me assure you, we do have a telegraph. Some of us even have phones, and he points to a phone on his
I was
desk.
quite sure you would have a phone, because if not, contacting a lawyer is, well, it goes, but it's quite difficult. Also, we talked to Matthew on that was the phone. You have the phone in the hotel. Oh, I used it.
There are several people who have got phones. I know for a fact that the local church has a phone as well.
See, well, the police, with how they work, I know why they don't need the money for a phone. Sorry to say, I'm quite disappointed when the police is not doing the work as they should. But, well, they at least took care of the body. Come back to Matthew. I was just curious, I found something on a certain place outside of town, on the Rowland farmstead.
Yes, what about the Rowland farmstead?
Was he looking into that place because you were thinking about investing there? Not to get into your way, but it was a bit of shocking news article he had on that place, and I don't know why he would keep it if it wouldn't be for the work.
Well, to be quite honest, no, it had never occurred to me to look even remotely.
Well, after what happened there, I can't say...
Oh, you know what happened there?
Well, as I said, the newspaper article was disturbing to see that the family died there, at least part of the family, as it seems.
Yes, quite. It was quite shocking. They were murdered. The police never found out who did it. Well, the parents were killed and the son, the daughter survived.
Is she... Well, poor girl, going through this and being on her
Well,
own.
she's about 11 now. She's still alive. She still lives in the town.
So she had family that took care of her.
No, not really. She was well, there was this boy who didn't live too far away. He's from a neighboring farmstead, and he saw the murder, or so he said. In the beginning, the police thought that it was him, because he went shooting rabbits, and he was a bit strange. He kept to himself, and he didn't have any friends, and but nothing came of it. The police could never tie him to the crime, but he basically somehow persuaded his parents that they should take in the girl.
Well, I hope she has a good place there. And friends taking care of her.
Well, she lives on a farm now, and she used to live on a farm with her parents, so for all I know, she won't even be able to tell the difference between one lifestyle and the other. It's just that her parents are gone, which must be traumatic, especially since she was there.
More traumatic would be to lose her. It was a twin brother, if I read it right.
Yes, you're quite right. It was a twin brother.
A special connection, so that poor girl. But that's not... Also not.
Just... But to answer your question,
no, you
also
have no interest.
The farmstead is... I don't want to say it's out of the way. Oh yes, I do want to say it is out of the way.
It's not.
You would not really put any tourists in there because it's very far away from the beach and the harbour, for which we are so famous. So no, I have never looked at it.
Another weird
and
thing.
Also, I think the crime has been quite widely reported, and I don't know about you, but I think that a lot of guests would find it out of taste.
Yeah, probably.
To build a spa on a on a land, or on a land piece of land that is so, well, maybe even haunted, if there is such a thing.
I totally get that. I was just
it would be
curious about the newspaper clipping and thought it was.
Of course,
connected
I'm
to
pretty
work.
sure that Murphy wouldn't care. I mean, he's a blow-in from. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say he's a blow-in from New York. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Well, there are blow-ins from New York. I can give you a whole list of names that belong into the category. I never met Mr. Murphy, but I heard his name here and there. So, well, not everyone from the city is nice. The other thing,
yes.
Since we still, and obviously also the police had the same idea, Matthew could be on a trip to somewhere. Did he take a car from you? Because he would ask you first, because you can offer cars. He would not rent a car from somewhere
I did
else.
offer him a car, but he declined.
Then he has not left my car. He's practical.
Well, I can assure you that all the cars that I have in my possession are
I totally believe
for.
that. I just wanted to ask and double check, because Matthew is a practical guy in this regard. You're working together anyhow, so, and you offered him a car. If he would have wanted a car for an adventure outside, he would have asked you.
Well, I told him also that if he should change his mind, he could just let me know in the morning, or even if I wasn't here, just talk to my secretary, because we do rent out cars. Yeah. It's part of our business, so you can just show up, show your driving license, and then get a car. It's not a problem.
It's yeah, as you said, another point why I'm worried on where he is and what happened. But okay, the one thing is, question wise, do you want the contract papers? Just that it's with you and not within the Murphy Hotel? I can bring them over to you if you want to.
I mean, what I could do is I could put them in my safe, and he points behind him. There is a safe that you have noticed, but, it might be safer in there than just in his hotel room.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but obviously I will not sign them without Mr. Gregory present. So they would just be resting in the safe until he returns.
At least no one else can do weird, stupid. I have no idea how to do this thing, but
No, quite. This is a very good idea. So, but how shall we go about it? I doubt that Mr. Murphy will let me into his hotel and then into the room of someone who isn't there.
That's why I offered. I will get them to you. Don't worry about that.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. So
I will bring them over a bit later today.
Oh, that would be most helpful, Miss Baker. That is a thank you so much. I mean, and I will assure you that they will not be looked at, and I will not go over them until such time as Mr. Gregory will be back to go over them with me, and we can discuss any details.
Thank you so much. That is basically all. So obviously, if you hear any sign from him, if you could inform me, I will also keep you
Absolutely,
in the loop.
of course. But likewise, I'm sure.
Yes,
if he shows up at the chalet before I get to see him, please do let me know, because to be quite honest, I am a bit worried. We don't tend to lose people here in Simmon Strand. I mean, every so often somebody
falls off the cliff,
drowns,
as was told to me.
They kind of drink too much, or it's a couple of youths, wrestling and then or on a dare, and they, how young people are, but we don't usually lose lawyers.
And Matthew is not someone to get lost.
Quite.
So we will see what we will find out. Then thank you for taking the time. And
of course, anytime. By the way, how's your companion? I hope that she didn't see the body.
Oh, she did with
me.
Oh
my!
She also helped to cover the body because we didn't want the seagulls to get the breakfast that we didn't want them to have.
He managed to pass his sanity test because the visual that you just gave him.
Alice is like, that's just facts in this case.
He rolled a 24, he's fine.
I'm fine,
but
he's fine.
He can't get this picture out of his head easily.
Well, Dottie is my assistant, so when I'm working as a PI, she sees most of the things.
But she's so young. Isn't she a bit young to be seeing all this crime and this pain in the world?
Maybe, but she is a very bright mind with a lovely stubbornness to it to not break her. She is fine. She's fine, and she is fine enough to tell me, like, I'm not doing this. I am out, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's an interesting relationship you have with your assistant. Good then. Well then, I would suggest the following. We will be in touch.
Mm-hmm.
If and when I hear something from Mr. Gregory, I will ensure that I send somebody to the chalet to leave a message if you're not there, or if you're there, to hand over the message immediately. I will also tie him to the chair you are sitting in and will not let him go until you meet, so that I can safely hand him over to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you also for thinking about sending something to poor Miss Martin. It will definitely help to lighten her mood.
Oh yes, I've got it written down here. A bottle of brandy and a nice bouquet of flowers.
Thank you so much. I will hopefully hear you soon with some news.
Of course.
And Alice gets up and
let me show you to the door. And he gets up, walks around his desk, opens the door, lets you walk outside. He goes out, opens the other door, walks you out.
She is. Inside, she's like, this is so stupid, but, well, let's go with it. It's not worth fighting over this. Let's have them there, like, things that they have to do. It's like etiquette, okay? And she will just, before she leaves, to everyone in the room, just have a nice rest of the day. Thank you very much. And we'll leave.
Goodbye. You can hear that they are not used to, basically, people just, wishing them a happy rest of the day. And they're like, almost... You can imagine that the two of them are looking up from their work, looking at each other, puzzled, like, and then it's like, okay, so do we say something? And if so, what's appropriate? It's like, bye.
And then she will step outside.
And you step outside, and it is now round about possibly 11 o'clock or thereabouts, because you went to the police and then you went to Mr. Morton. And you have 1 more hour before you're due to meet the dear Dottie at the library. But now we're going to take a brief break.
That would be lovely.
Okay, and here we are back. So basically, you've just spoken to Mr. Morton and you have stepped outside. It's 11 o'clock. And it is a really, really lovely day. So it started out lovely, and it's been, it's even improved, if that was even possible. So now it's really sunny, and it's a lively town, and it's Saturday, so people are walking around. You can tell that not all of them are tourists. These are the natives, as it were, and they, go about their daily business. They go shopping. So you still have an hour before you're meeting Dottie at the library. What would you like to do in that time frame?
She's thinking about Matthew's hotel room. The window, was it on the back side of the hotel?
Yeah. It was facing the ocean.
But when you walked like back around the way Alice the first time went from the hotel to the chalets, would you see the window? Basically, she's thinking about honestly breaking into the window, but she doesn't want to be caught, so she wants to make sure that no one can see her there.
Well, I mean, you looked at the window, and there was like gravel, and so basically, if you went there, you wouldn't leave footprints. But of course, if you remember, there's this huge corridor.
Yeah.
From end to end, and when you leave at the back entrance, as it were, you get to the veranda where they have like chairs and desks, chairs and tables.
So from the veranda, you would see
the
window.
So if people were there, they would see what you're doing.
Okay.
During daylight hours, anyway.
Then she will try if I do the official way, and she will try the official way. She will go to the hotel.
Okay. So you go
step inside to the reception. Also ask if there are messages for her, because we organized that if someone from the city is calling in, they can leave messages here for me. So going to the reception. Let's see if Sandy is here again.
Let's see if Sandy is in, or if it's her day off today. 85. No, Sandy is not in. There is somebody else there.
Then I would just step up. Good day.
Good day, Ms. How can I help you?
I'm Miss Baker. Sandy and Mr. Crickleshank. What a name. We got an arrangement that people can leave messages here for me. So I was curious if there is a message for Miss Baker.
Oh, let me check.
Thank you
madam.
so much.
And this time it's a man. His nameplate says Michael, and he turns around and he goes to one of the pigeonholes. And you can tell that each room has like a pigeonhole, and then there's like where you put in the key, and then there's a pigeonhole that has no room number attached to it. And he takes out a couple of, like papers or envelopes even, and he goes through and he says, I'm afraid, madam, that there is nothing here for you.
Okay, thank you very, very much. That's all. And Alice will just go inside towards Matthew's room, as if she belongs here. Just like she's one of the residential people here. She knows exactly where to go. She's been there before.
Okay. Yeah, well, he knows that you're not a resident, but then he doesn't seem to care, because where would you possibly go? I mean, you're a lady, you're not going to break into anyone's room.
That is nice to think.
Okay.
She is going towards Matthew's door, and she will carefully walk up to there and hopes that no one else is in the hallway.
Then give me a luck roll.
My luck is not good. But it's that good. I rolled a 13, so yes.
Actually, there is no one there. It seems like the room service has, housekeeping has already been in and out. You can tell, and
Alice will pull out a little tool out of her handbag and will just stand in front of the door of his office and will try to unlock it.
Do you have a skill?
Yes, I have locksmith.
Then please go ahead and roll.
I'm a PI. I need to get into things I'm not allowed to do.
It's absolutely fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, there it is, locksmith, indeed.
And I rolled a 1.
Seriously?
Yes. I'm just staring at it and just like, 7? No, the 7 is right next to that. I rolled a 1.
Okay, in that case, please roll a d10 now.
Okay. 4.
Okay, increase your locksmith by 4 already, like at this stage.
You?
Because you don't have to, because when it's a 1, this is my house rule, then you get to increase the skill by a d10 immediately.
Okay.
And you don't have to check, do you actually get to increase it? A 1 is kind of like, you slide the lock pick into the door. It gives a click. And the door opens smoothly. You take it out again. It slides out. There is no hesitation. It doesn't catch or anything. It's like this lock pick was made for this lock.
That is perfect.
And it takes you less than a second. It's like in, click, out.
Alice is honestly even surprised. She was thinking she will need a bit longer for that. She was sure she could do it, but it's like, oh boy, that's I'm gonna practice. She's stepping in and just closing the door behind her.
Brilliant, yeah. You walk inside. You're inside the room.
She will just turn around and look at his desk. Is everything as she left it?
Make a spot hidden and a normal success will suffice.
That is a big no.
You can't tell.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's different, but
it's not upside down, not obviously different.
No.
Okay.
It still looks orderly, but you wouldn't be able to tell if somebody has maybe moved or rearranged some of the stuff. It looks like you remember it, but
she will just flip through the pages of the contracts just with a rough idea. It looks like everything is there, so she would just look around if she can find anything like an envelope or anything she can put them in, because I'm not sure her handbag would be honestly big enough for that. Would Matthew have anything? He would have something in his office.
He's got those,
or like paper folders you can put them in,
yeah,
or so.
He's got those, yeah, absolutely.
She would take one, would put the papers in there. She would also find an empty piece of paper and would also leave a note like, call me Matthew, please, or visit Alice, and would put it in the middle of the desk. Mm-hmm. And then she would walk over to his bedroom, just again looking if he maybe came back. But I guess
you can't say
it looks
it doesn't
still
look like it, no.
With a big sigh, she will then step outside of the room again and will lock it again.
Yeah, you don't have to roll. You lock it.
And then she will just put the folder under an arm and she will walk out the back over the veranda and will go basically start the way that she went, but she will go back into town. She will do basically a circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that went quite quickly. So her next stop would be she would go in quickly at Mr. Morton's and drop the papers for him.
Mm-hmm. You do that. It's now maybe 35 minutes past 11.
And then she goes over to the library and would walk up to the library information person, however it's organized.
You go to the library, it says library, and you see open Mondays to Fridays from 9 to 1700 hours.
That's annoying.
At that moment, you hear footsteps that you know very well.
I will stare a moment longer at the sign, frowning, and then turn around. Darcy, dear.
Yes, madam?
The library's closed.
Oh,
Sadly.
such bad luck.
Well, it means that we can't figure out what the book is that Matthew checked out.
Well, here's news for you.
Okay.
She takes your arm, pulls you back,
Mm-hmm.
and positions you in front of the library, facing the library, saying, "That's the library." Then she looks to the right, points at a house. "That's where the librarian lives."
Oh. Well, then I guess since it's urgent, should we visit the dear librarian and ask for a little favor?
I'm told he is very charming and he likes young ladies.
Well, then he will be blessed with 2 lovely ladies.
And she lets you take the lead. She's very pleased with herself.
I will probably just hook my arm into hers and just Alice looks impressed, so definitely. And she'll probably just whisper like, "Soon you will not need my help anymore. You can do your own PI business."
Well, I had to get directions to the library from the harbor. And so I asked one of the people that I was buying fish from, and they told me that the library was closed at the weekends. But they also told me that the librarian, who is in his 70s, lives next to it.
That is perfect.
And he's a bachelor, and he lives alone, and he doesn't go anywhere, so the library is his life. And he will probably, but we shouldn't tell him this, die in the library, and he will not give up the library until they carry him out feet first. That's the word on the street.
Then let's hope he finds someone young and with a brilliant mind that wants to take over and maybe supports him until he can't anymore. Let's see. We would step up to the house. Alice would look if she can find a name at the door or something like that.
Yes, you can. It says J. Wanamaker.
J. Wanamaker. Mm-hmm. These people here have such weird names.
That was the first name that popped into my head. He's named after the actress Zoe Wanamaker. For some reason, she just appeared in front of my eye.
I'm still on the. It's not Crinkle. It's the
Crinkle Shank. Well, that is actually from the NPC library from Call of Cthulhu that I have. So basically, this guy actually exists. I didn't make up his name. I would never have come up with that name.
I'm still thinking I don't know why I'm drawn to Crinkleshank. Something in behind of the back of my mind is yelling at me with the name.
The funny thing is, Crookshank is actually quite a common Scottish name.
Yeah, Crookshank I've heard quite a bit.
But Crinkleshank, I've never heard this before. But it sounds like a name that could exist.
I am not sure. But we will see. Then let's go up to the door and knock.
Mm-hmm. A couple of minutes pass, and you hear noise in the house. So it's not like there is nothing happening. And you hear somebody coming, and the door opens, and in front of you you see a man who, if he is in his 70s, he's very well preserved. He's got a full shock of grey hair, but like full shock of hair, and he's wearing an apron, and he's holding pruning shears in one hand, and a potted plant in the other. Yes.
Oh dear! It seems like we are disturbing you in garden work. I'm really sorry.
No. This is one of my this is one of my yeah, exactly. I forget the name of the plant that he's holding. Orchid. he's got orchids. This is one of my orchids. I was just after pruning my orchids. I am so sorry. And he puts down the pruning shears and the orchid. He wipes his hands on his apron and says, I am so sorry. I don't think I know you.
No, we are guests since basically yesterday in this beautiful town. I'm Miss Baker. This is Miss Williams.
Oh, welcome, Miss Baker. Welcome, Miss Williams. I do hope that you're enjoying your stay here at Simmon Strand.
We are making the best out of it, and we are following a bit of a mystery line a friend of me left for me because he knows I like little riddles and things to figure out and mystery and things like that. So he usually prepares something for me when I get somewhere, and
he looks intrigued.
So Matthew, or Mr. Gregory, I think you met him because I got a hint from him on a piece of paper that he took a book out of your library, but I don't know what kind of book. So I would guess I would need to ask you what kind of book this is based on the number in the piece of paper. And sadly we've seen, I know it's a weekend and you're officially closed, but I would really like to move on with the mystery. So it's a question if you would be able to help us even outside of working hours, so we don't have to wait until Monday.
Oh, not at all. Don't tell this to anyone, because then everyone will want to use the library at the weekends. But this is something really special. Let me just clean up, because, and you can see that he's got dirt under his fingernails and there is earth on his fingers. And he's like, how about you just go into the garden and there's some lemonade there and I'll just change and I'll be with you in about 15 minutes, if that's all right.
That is perfectly fine. Thank you so much for taking the time.
And he directs you around the house because it's a detached house. He says, just go around here and then there is lemonade out there and do sit down and I'll be with you presently. And he closes the door. Mm-hmm. Do you go to where he directs you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go around and you see a garden, which is almost like the garden of some kind of enchanted castle because it's full of plants, there are trees, there are hedges, and it's completely, you can't see into it from the outside. And then there is like a cast iron, one of those dainty garden tables with dainty garden chairs, also made of iron. But the commandeering view that you see is a huge conservatory and it's full of orchids.
Okay.
And of course the door is closed because it has to be quite hot and quite humid for most of them to grow. But it is a spectacular sight.
Well, now we know what the bachelor does in his free time. That is impressive. What a beautiful, amazing garden.
And as he said there would, you see, lemonade. As he said you see a carafe of lemonade and a couple of clean glasses. Unused. I mean, they're all clean. There is 3 unused glasses and 1 used. But, clean, it's still clean. I mean, it's just been used, but it's clean,
Alice would pour in 2 glasses and would hold out 1 to Dottie.
Mm-hmm. Dottie gladly accepts and she drinks it. She's like, oh, this is very good lemonade.
It is, and oh my, standing in front of the house, I did not expect this. Look at all the orchids. Look at this conservatory. That is amazing.
That is really amazing. That's something that I didn't quite expect to see somewhere out here. I mean, yes, in New York, you do see some fancy gardening work every so often, but out here, orchids? I'm very impressed.
That is... Well, you know me, they would die within days when they're in my care.
She smiles into her lemonade, and you hear her over here saying, isn't that a lie?
Okay, hours maybe.
Yeah, more like it. I mean, I remember one time when your mother gave you that plant. I'm pretty sure it withered just when you set eyes on it.
Well, it was from my mother. It kind of, no, deserves would be harsh. The plant probably did. I'm not a plant person.
No, you're not.
But I find them quite pretty when I can look at them. So Alice will probably stroll over to the conservatory to get closer look. She will not go inside or really touch anything, but stepping a bit closer that you can look through the glass.
Actually, from the outside, it's of course full glass, and you can see beautiful orchids, and it's the glass is kind of like misty in places, or misted over because of the humidity. But whatever it is that you see there, it's not your forte. You can't really tell them apart. The only thing that you notice is flower, pretty, very pretty. It looks spectacular. It's really nice.
What an amazing view. I should have taken my camera with me. That would be a nice thing too. Although the colors are not coming through. Probably to paint it would be more the thing. Well, let's just wait for the good Mr. Wanamaker.
And about 15 to 20 minutes later, he does show up, and he is now dressed in a tweed suit with a tie. And his hands are immaculate. And he says, "Well then, ladies, shall I lead the way?"
Yes, please lead the way. And I think in the between while we waited, Alice would have updated Dottie on the talk with the police guy, on the talk with Mr. Morton, not about what she did in the hotel. And that Dottie is up to date on those two things.
Yeah. So he takes you to the library. Basically, he walks you around the house again, into the street, goes to the library, looks left, looks right to see does anybody see him opening the library, because basically then everyone will come. Also, he thinks, you don't know, you're not so sure if everyone in Simmon Strand would suddenly gate crash the library if they notice it's open. And he opens, he unlocks it, he lets you go inside, and then he locks the door behind you again. He says, just in case. And you see, it's kind of like a normal library. There's a desk at the front, and you can see that there is like a filing cabinet, and like stamps that you would use to stamp dates, probably writing implements. And the actual library is behind it, and there are shelves of books, and then there's a catalogue as well. And he says, well, this is our catalogue section. Here we've got the catalogs by author name. Here we've got the catalogs by title, and here we've got by phrases in the title, and here is the catalog by subject, topic.
Okay.
So which book was it that you wanted to read?
Oh, just a second. Alice will pull out a piece of paper that she found, or it was two pieces of paper tacked together or pinned together. She would pull out both, but she would just pull out the library slip. She will, so far at least, not ready to show the signs to anyone. And she would hand over the piece of paper, like this one. It really looks to me like Matthew rented or lent a book for a few days.
Okay. Yes, it is true. That is from my library. But unfortunately, it doesn't say which book. But what was your friend's name again, if I may ask?
Matthew Gregory. He's also quite new in town, also just for business cases here. He's the lawyer for Mr. Morton to prepare
Oh yes, I
some
remember
contracts.
him. He arrived last week.
Yeah.
Well, this week past. Tall, handsome man.
That is Matthew.
Blonde hair. Yes, I do remember him because he's the only new customer. So shall I just check which book he took out?
That would be really lovely. That might give me a hint how to move on with my mystery.
Well, that is curious. He took out Simmon Strand Through the Ages. He took out several books. He took out Simmon Strand Through the Ages.
I know he took some kind of guidance on town because I've seen it.
Yeah, that would be this. It basically tells the story of Simmon Strand since it was founded.
Mm-hmm.
And then he oh, and then he took out a book called Ancient Horrors by Peter von Konnenberg. I don't really know this book. I've never read it. Yes, and these are the two books he took out.
Ancient Horror. Do you know roughly what the book is about? Since you haven't read it?
I suppose Ancient Horrors, but we can always check the library catalogue card. It usually contains a little more information.
That
Let me just,
would be really helpful, because this
so he
could
goes
lead into
to
any
the
direction.
K section for the author name, and he pulls out, and it's like, oh well, that's a curious book. It's oh my, it's been in the library for the last 70 years. It was acquired in 1861. That's almost 70 years ago. Oh wow. It just says well, it's a book of legends of local horrors in the Northeast, legends of the ancients and Indian peoples of New York and Massachusetts. He reads basically, you can see that that all of this information was never typed but written in hand. And you can also see that it's kind of a little bit faded. So this card may have been there for the last 70 years even. That's all it says, but it sounds like it's more like an antiquarian's take on things, maybe a collection of oral history or oral stories. That's all it says here, and he shows you the card and he hands it to you.
I will try to get through it, but probably just get the same out of it.
No, that's basically what it says, and you can turn it over, or you probably turn it over and there's nothing on the back. He says, "I'm very sorry, Ms. Baker. I've never looked at the book myself. I don't know what it's about."
Sorry, that is a weird choice. Is it? Alice will probably stare for a moment, just like thinking about, well, we found the article.
Pardon?
I got another clue from him that was an article about how was it called? Let me double check. The Roland farmstead and what happened there.
Oh yes, but that would have been a lot later than this book. The tragedy at Roland's farm happened only 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Well, it was. I'm sorry. It's actually not right to call it a tragedy, because a tragedies are things that happen to people. This was murder. The whole family, except for the daughter, was killed. So there was somebody behind this who decided that these people should die. So that's not a tragedy, that's a crime.
It's a horror, to be honest. That is what it is.
But I don't think it has anything to do with the ancient horrors mentioned in the book. It's not a story, it is real.
It is, although no one knows who did the murder.
Well, if you ask me, it was probably some vagrant that maybe was trying to get some food from the kitchen, and they found him and he panicked, and
Then the girl was lucky to get out there in one piece.
Yes, she was. I mean, apparently she watched the whole thing, so I don't know how much luck is involved in that, but at least she got out.
Well, it sounds like a lifelong curse to remember your family being murdered and still being alive. I hope she can get through that, grow to a blooming young adult. Would you, just one last question, then we will definitely leave you to get back to your amazing orchid collection. Oh my
He smiles.
goodness, I haven't seen something that impressive in New York. And there are quite a few conservatories there, but this kind of orchid collection is really impressive.
Well, maybe once you have solved your mystery, I can give you a tour, you and your lovely companion.
That is something I would love to come back to because it's really, really pretty. Um,
Every so often I do an open house, and then the ladies of the town, what we do is we kind of do a fundraiser for the local lifeboats, for example, and then I just basically open up the conservatory. People come in, they pay entry fees like 5 pence, $1, if like the big companies,
yeah,
and they pay $1 just to look at the orchids, and then we donate the proceeds. We do that twice a year.
that is a really lovely thing. Since you mentioned the lifeboats, is there any place I can give some money for that? That is not the police station.
Oh, of course. I mean, and he points to a box. There's a collection box right there, or you could also donate at the harbor. Most of the souvenir shops also have collection boxes.
Then honestly, no. I will. She would just rummage through her handbag and get like $2 and would put it in. I still have problems to figure out how much money is worth here, so I have no idea if $2 is much or not.
Well, if they ask you for $5 for a day pass for a library, go away.
Okay, then she will give $2 and just put it in there.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Because
you're too generous. Thank you so much.
Well, it's an important thing, and honestly,
yes,
if you're getting more tourists here, it's even more important.
All the young men volunteer, so they're all volunteers. So they don't get paid, but we have to pay for the money, and we have to pay for the
boats,
for the life vests, and so on and so forth. So
keeping everything in shape. So
yeah,
glad to help on that.
Thank you so much.
You are very, very welcome. Do you have like a book on ancient symbols or thing like that? Because he also left me with a few symbols without explanation.
Well, you mean like ciphers?
Maybe just have a look. She would pull the second piece of paper and just put it on the desk in front of him. Have you seen anything like that before? I haven't.
He takes a look, and basically just to show it one more time. This is what you're showing him, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it does say von Konnenberg.
Yeah, seems a link to the book, but the
so maybe this is what's in the book.
But that doesn't look like Indian language signs. At least nothing that I've seen before. Have you seen signs like that?
I mean, that looks like a cross. But I mean, the cross doesn't look like a Christian cross, because the Christian cross does look slightly different.
Yes.
Why don't you make a library use roll?
Let's do that. Although, I'm surprisingly good in that. Let's see, which makes sense, to be honest. And thank goodness I'm good in that, because that is a barely success. 1 point under. It is 64.
Okay, so you basically start looking through
the catalog.
Yeah, and you actually do find 2 works mentioned that deal with cryptography, symbolism through the ages, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And you give the cards to him, and he's like, "Oh yes, well let's just go to the shelves then and get them." And he goes to the shelf of the first card, and he's like, "That is strange." Huh.
What?
And he takes a step back and he looks at the shelf, and you can see that he's concentrating. This is strange, Miss Baker, because this is exactly, he points to, basically, there are 2 books next to each other. And he says, between these 2 books, there should be this book. And he holds up the card. But it's not there. So I'm now looking at the surrounding books. Maybe it was placed too far to the left, too far to the right, or one up or one down, because that does happen. But it's not there. Let's try the other one. And he basically goes to that shelf. And he's now even more puzzled because he says, this is really strange. This book is also not where it should be. I can't find it. It looks like they're both not here.
And no one picked... Well, you would obviously know if someone had lent them, because then you would have...
I can check if they have been checked out, but to be quite honest, I've never seen those books. And since I'm the only one who's currently working here, if somebody had checked them out in the last 6 years, they would have checked them out with me. And I'm pretty sure that I have not had someone check out a book in the last, or 2 books even in the last 2 years and not 6 years, and not return them, and me not knowing and not remembering, especially since these books are not the kind of books that people usually check out. I mean, we've got the crime novel section over here that people check out quite frequently. We've got the cookery book section over there, which people check out quite then we've got the fishing section back there. So you get my drift.
I totally get your drift. That is quite unusual material, and that would stick out even more.
I'm actually surprised that we have this kind of book here, but like I said, I mean, you know, I've only been here for 40 years, so obviously the person who ran the library before me had quite eclectic tastes. So, but let me just check, just to be sure that it's not in the checked out section. And he goes to another much, much smaller catalog, which is basically just one of those filing things, you know, like carryable files.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes through and says, no, they've not been checked out.
Okay.
Which means somebody took them without checking them out. Which means somebody stole from the library.
Quite
I'm
shocking.
offended.
Yeah, you should be, especially probably old books like that. They look also like older versions.
Yes.
They've been there.
They've been here a long time. They've been here longer than I have been around, so yes.
Okay. Alice will pull back the piece of paper with the signs.
Well, I mean, you have them. He didn't. He looked at them and he gave them back immediately. He didn't keep
the other piece
of
paper. She doesn't even care that much, or probably I need to take it back for Matthew, because it's like the receipt, right, or the remembrance. Also, when you have to return it, I guess.
Yeah, it's due on Wednesday.
Then, okay.
No, sorry, it's due in a month's time. It's due on the 6th of the following month.
Okay,
what
so
am I
for
saying?
4
Wednesday,
weeks.
yeah. He took it out on the 6th, and then it's due on the 6th of the following month.
Okay. Well, that is surprising. And I promise you Matthew would not steal books just if you get that idea. Because it seemed to be linked, which is weird.
Oh, no, he would not, because he actually never went into the library. He asked me about books.
Yeah, that's how.
And I just got them for him, so he didn't go into the library, I'm afraid. So he would not have been able to take, unless he can spirit them away. And he smiles.
He can, and honestly, he's a very organized, very guideline following person, so he would never do that. He would have also asked you for the books if he would have wanted them, because you would have lent them to him. There's no way. Why would he?
Of course, I mean, I'm a lending library. I'm always happy when people take out books. I think people should read more and watch less television.
I am with you on that. Television. Is there even television in that time already?
I was just wondering this myself, but I think in the 1930s they had at least. Well, they would have gone to the movies. I don't think that they had television.
No, I think they went to the movies.
They should read more and go less to the moving pictures.
Well, I think a mix of both is nice.
Well, I'm afraid if your mystery depends on getting these 2 books, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you much.
That is not you've done a lot for us, a lot of help.
Oh, well, to be quite honest, it is nice to get some kind of, fresh view on things. And because of you, I've learned about a couple of treasures in my library.
The question would be, would you have like another, maybe not the same issue, but a similar one or something similar where I could read up a bit on the history of this beautiful little town?
Oh, you mean Simmon Strand Through the Ages? Well, I've got 3 copies, so I'm pretty sure that not all of them have been checked out. Just wait a
That
second.
would be lovely.
And he goes
Thank you
back
so
and
much.
he comes back. Obviously, there is a section with kind of like, local stuff, and then he says, oh, yes, here we are. And he hands you a book. It's actually quite hefty. It's got about 300 pages. And he says, so then, let me just fill out the card.
Look
He
at the
fills
card.
out a card.
I'll give him
and
all the
he
detail.
stamps it and he says, you can keep it for a month. And he puts the card in the back. It's got like a little envelope at the back. He sticks it in. And then he says, if you please sign here. So this is your library card. And he hands you a library card.
Alice is
That
signing
would be 5
everything.
cents, please.
She will pay the 5 cents.
He puts it into kind of like he has a little
And
piggy bank thing. He puts
you
it
will
in there.
get it back by hopefully end of next week, because then we probably go back home. So thank you very,
Quite.
very,
And you
very
can also,
much.
if you need it, you can extend it by 1 month. So the total time that you can keep it is 8 weeks, or 2 months, but you have to extend it after the first
That
month.
is quite
And it says
nice
there
of
when
you.
the first month is up.
I see that. That is quite nice of
So
you.
as you can see, I've not backdated, but whatever the opposite is. So you've officially taken it out on Monday of the following week.
That is a sneaky and very clever move of you. So thank you so much for your help, and I will definitely come back to your offer to have a look at the conservatory later in the week.
Yes, anytime. Between 9 and 1700 hours, I'm usually here. Well, I'm always here, but after 1700 hours or before 9,
we will peek in during work hours to probably return the book, and then we can make up a date when it fits.
That would be absolutely lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your help.
And he walks round, unlocks the door,
Mm-hmm.
opens it for you, waits for you two to walk past him.
Mm-hmm.
Then he steps outside, locks the door, and then he says, well, ladies, it was a pleasure meeting you, and he kisses both your hands.
It was a big pleasure, a big smile from Alice, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
And enjoy Simmon Strand.
We will for sure. It's so beautiful.
And he walks back to his house with a spring in his step. And he opens his front door, goes in and closes it, and that's the last you see of him for the time being. It's not like he's dying now.
Alice would not move too much. She would move a few steps, then just stop. Dottie, do we have someone in New York that could see if they can get a hand on a book like this?
Well, I mean, there are plenty of huge libraries in New York, and I think we could always ask Sinead.
Yeah, and the thing is, we need to get it here. And
Well,
the libraries.
I mean, whoever does it in New York would have to check it out in New York.
Yeah.
And then they would have to get it to us somehow. It's not like they can send it.
I'm not sure Matthew's assistant would help with that.
Unless, of course, you just want them to read stuff to you.
No, definitely not. Yeah, let's see. Well, I'm sorry to say that Mr. Morton has to see me again, but I think he would be the best bet to ask for a phone. So, we are going back to Mr. Morton's office.
All right. And she basically falls into step with you, and you go to Mr. Morton's office rather, and you go inside. The 2 people are still doing their drafts.
They know me
stuff.
by now.
It's now 1:30 or
Mhm.
2:00 almost. They say, the person who spoke to you earlier, the guy who spoke to you earlier, said, you're back. Yes, Mr. Morton said that you might be. I will just knock on the door and let him know that you're in. Just give me a second. And he
Thank you.
doesn't even wait for you to say anything. He jumps out behind his desk, walks over to the door, knocks on the door. Come. And he opens the door. Mr. Morton, Miss Baker is back, as you said she would be. Will I just let her in? And he's like, yes, please do send her in.
So we step in just quickly.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to disturb you again. This is getting, hopefully, not a routine, Mr. Morton.
I know that you were coming to give me the papers, so...
So handing out the papers to him.
He doesn't even look at them. He just basically takes the whole bundle that you give him, goes, turns around, stands in front of his safe that you can't see what he's doing, and you can hear the little wheel going...
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns the big wheel and the thing opens. He puts in the paper, he closes it, he locks it, and then he says, thank you very much.
Well, you are very welcome. I was curious, would you think that we could use your phone to make 2 calls to New York?
Of course. Please, do sit down. And
Thank you so much.
he takes the phone, he turns it over to you, says, you have to dial 0 for the operator. And then he walks around and steps outside and closes the door from the outside.
What a gentleman. So, Alice will go with the library that is close to her home, where she would regularly look by. That
Then
would
make a luck roll if they're open on Saturdays.
Oh, that's right. We are on a Saturday. It's not like nowadays where everything is... No, it's closed. That is a tricky thing.
Well, but how about you just ring someone to get them to go to the library for you on Monday?
Yeah, the thing is, if they get them on Monday, they will be here quite late.
Well, they will be, if they go in on the Monday morning, then they can take the train and be here at 16:48. It's a daily train.
That's true. Would your friend Sinead enjoy a few days at the ocean? If we ask her?
If we throw in that somebody was murdered at a farmstead, yes.
Then maybe that might be the best bet. I was thinking about maybe asking Dolores or one of the others, but I don't want to worry them about any notion of Matthew missing. With Sinead, we can at least be quite honest, because she doesn't know him.
Well, I'm pretty sure that she would sense that you are worried. You know how she does these things, but you could definitely be open with her.
Then let's give her a call. I think that would be the best bet. Let's hope she's there.
You ring and 22, yes. She's definitely here because, Dottie's luck is 41, yeah. So no problem there. So the phone is answered. So what do you say to Sinead?
Baker here. Hello.
Oh, Alice, how are you doing? That's a surprise.
Well, Dottie and I, we are at Simmon Strand, a bit outside of New York, on actually a holiday. But the way it turns,
Dottie's taking a holiday.
Well, honestly, she had not a choice. She had to join me. But so far, we are having a holiday, and Dottie's enjoying probably cooking extremely fresh fish and food from the ocean. And we are in a bit of a hassle. We have a little mystery to solve, and I would need help for someone on Monday morning to go through the libraries and get at least 1, maybe 2 books for me, and bring them to Simmon Strand. And I thought also, Dottie thought maybe it would be an idea for you to help us, and you can stay with us for a few days if you like. We will stay here until Friday, so if you want to join, you could enjoy also the ocean and maybe help us with the mystery. And I promise it's not a haunted piano or thing like that, then I would just leave this town without blinking in an eye.
Oh, and there I was hoping that it might this time be a haunted piece of a haunted bagpipe or something. All right, so you want me to go to the library and check out a couple of books and take them to Simmon Strand? Is that what you're asking?
And it's kind of urgent. Sadly, on the weekend they are closed, but if you could, I don't know if it fits into your calendar and your I don't know what appointments.
Well, I'm pretty sure this can be arranged. I assume that you remember that I do take payment.
Yes, and we will obviously would leave a ticket for you already paid in at the main train station, Central Station. I think it's called. I'm just thinking about how it's called.
Yeah, it's New York Central. Station. Yeah, that's where you left. Well, in the game.
Yeah, New York Central. I think it's even in real life. It's also New York Central. And we would leave a ticket there. And So if you're up for it, I can give you the name of the books and the time.
If you give me the name of the book or books that you would like me to check out, then I will see what I can do.
I would definitely, if you by any chance get the book, and please don't scream about it. The author is Peter von Kronenberg, and I will give the name in detail just that she knows how it's written. Yeah. And the book is called Ancient Horror.
Mm-hmm. You can hear the scratching, so she's obviously writing this down.
And the other 2 books, you don't need to get both. If you can, yes, they're more like optional or might be helpful. They were stolen here, so that is mystery in itself.
Curious.
And she would give the 2 books that she found basically on the catalog on the symbol and cryptology. Those 2 she would give on as well.
She writes those down. Yes, I will see what I can do. I think yes, I will get one of my sisters and we will go to 2 different libraries just in case.
That would
Monday morning first thing, and then whatever I find, I will get to Simmon Strand on that day.
That would be lovely. You are an angel in need, I have to say. You're really helping us. And the train leaves at whatever time it was, 14? Was it 14, 11?
It was
I wrote it down somewhere in the beginning. And I'll give us Matthew Friday late morning. I didn't write down, but it would be then late morning, would be like 10, 11-ish.
Well, it arrives at 16:48, and I think the traveling time was 4 hours and something, so it leaves probably around 12 something.
12. Okay, then I would give her the exact time. And and you will not to be worried. You will travel first class because the first class wagon goes through to Simmon Strand. The rest is staying back, so you don't have to switch any seating. The rest stays in Port Arling, and you don't want to be stuck there because the train here goes only once per day. So that would be perfect and lovely. Thank you so much.
Okay, good.
And then we will try to organize that that there's a ticket reserved for her on for the Monday train from New York to here.
Okay, so that's arranged. She rings off and she says, I will see you on Monday. If I don't find anything, I will ring you. Where can I ring you?
Leave a message at the Murphy.
Hotel.
Why do I want to say Morrison? Murphy Hotel. And here in Simmon Strand, they know to take messages from me. I'm checking in at least once a day. Because our space has no phone, so...
Yes, we'll do. That's not a problem at all. And she rings off and she wishes you a nice weekend.
And then Alice would be like, oh dear, do we have space for another guest in ours?
There is the children's bedroom, yes.
But it's also a children's sized bed or an adult bed?
You are pretty sure that if you were to ask, Mr. Morton could tell you if you can get a bigger...
That would be then the next. Then she would open the door again to just motion that Mr. Morton obviously can come in again.
He's actually standing outside of the building. The door is open and he's smoking.
Then, Dottie, I think let's join him and maybe ask if by Monday we could get a proper single bed in the children's room. That would be lovely for Sinead, I think.
Oh, you don't even have to wait until Monday. If you go, excuse me, if you go into the room, there are two wardrobes.
Yeah.
One of them is actually a foldable bed.
Oh, then we don't even have to ask him. That is brilliant thinking.
I didn't think to mention it because there was only the two of you. Otherwise, I would have brought it up.
That is perfect. And we don't have to even do, because a friend will come over that will help us to search for Matthew. Because
that's great.
I'm still quite scared that on Monday he's still not there.
Yes, well, I have to say, I have checked one more time. We definitely have all of our cars.
That's good.
So he hasn't taken.
So
nobody has taken any car. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so he didn't leave, at least not with one of your cars. Thank you so much for your help. That will be the last visit today, I promise you.
Oh, it's always lovely to see you.
Thank you for your help so much. It would be hard without. And have a productive and nice rest of the day. And then I will tell Dottie basically that I would love to go to the harbor and visit the harbor master. Harbor master. Let's take a little walk.
Yeah.
Or should we get a snack first? It's quite late, should it?
Yeah, I do think we should eat something.
Okay, then we.
But we could always go to one of the. I mean, near the harbour. And as a matter of fact, on the harbour front, there are little restaurants and cafes.
Then let's go there. Let's grab something to eat first, and then look out for the harbour master.
So this is now a quaint seaside town, if you've ever seen one. It's like one of those seaside towns that you see in Cornwall. You know, there is souvenir shops. There is a shop for the bucket and spade brigade where you can get children's toys and, you know, like little spades and little sandcastle molds and, you know, and there are tourists, definitely. They're shopping there. You could get little snowballs with Simmon Strand, you know, that kind of thing. It's quaint. You can get nice paintings of vistas from the area, you know, a sunset over Simmon Strand, blah, blah, blah. And there are restaurants, like tiny restaurants, tiny cafes, where you get chowder, like you get what you would get in a seaside town.
Perfect. I think we look for a place that looks nice, that maybe has 2 seats outside where we can just sit.
Sitting outside.
And then we will sit down for a little late lunch. And then we would move on to the harbour master.
Okay, so you basically have whatever it is that you're having. Food is served really quickly. It's very nice. And then you move on to the harbour master. It actually says harbour master on the door. You can't miss it.
That's good.
It's a building which is weird because it is kind of on the pier, and it's a wooden building, and it is freestanding, and it's kind of like made of this slated white wood planks, you know, they're kind of like overlapping a little bit, and it's got a blue roof, and you step inside and you can't believe what you're seeing, because this building on the inside is so big that you don't know how this is even possible, because you saw it from the outside and it looked like nothing. And this is not the TARDIS effect at all. It's actually a real building in Cove where the last stop of the Titanic was, where people would get on board of the small ships that would take them to the Titanic, and you can actually go in there, and when you look at it from the outside, it looks like nothing. When you go in there, it's a museum, and it's huge. And to this day, I don't know how they pulled this off, because the building is really tiny. But this is what you see. It's a huge building on the inside with several doors, and you're standing in a corridor, and there is basically there is a bench that people could sit on. At the moment it's empty though, and then there's the wall, and in the wall is kind of like a window, not kind of like, there is a window with glass, and you can pull it open and shut, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And there's somebody sitting behind it.
Alice will just briefly just let the impression sink in, like,
and then you can see that there is one door at the end and a corridor on the other end that's taking a right turn. So you're kind of really wondering, where's the corridor going? Where's the door going? Because this should just be like 2 meters in and like maybe 5 meters wide. That's all there is.
This is impressive. Well, Alice steps forward to the window. Just, I don't know if it's just opened or if we have to knock.
Well, you tap on the window, and there's a man sitting there, and he's reading the paper, and he looks up, he folds the paper, he puts it aside, he opens the window and says, "Yes, madam, how can I help you?"
Good afternoon. We would have 2 questions, which I hope you or one of your colleagues looking down the corridor.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm alone. I'm the harbor master.
Then we got to the right person. We are living in the new chalets that were built up. She's pointing roughly in the direction. And yesterday evening we saw a quite big ship passing by with lights on, searching for, I have no idea what. We were really, really curious if you would know what kind of boat that was. Because I guess you should have get some info.
Last night, you say?
Yeah, it was going north.
Let me just check my books. And he opens the book and he says, well, my best guess is that it was the Mary Brown. It's a merchant vessel that leaves Port Arlington and then goes north up to Maine.
Okay, then I don't even have to ask the second question.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is of interest to you, but the ship was late. It was delayed for 3 days because one of her sailors went missing, and they had to find a replacement first.
You don't know by accident who was the sailor that went missing?
Of course I do, because it was all over the news. Let me just get the paper. If you just bear with me for a second.
Most definitely. We are in no rush.
And he gets up and he goes to and there is a stack of newspapers, and he takes out the papers, and he goes through it, and he says, where is it? And then he takes out a newspaper article. He says, well, it says here that his name was Carl Miller.
Miller.
Yes, he was on leave, like everyone from the Mary Brown. And he never returned when his leave was up, so they were looking for him. They informed his family because he said that he wanted to go and visit them. They're actually here in town, so he came up from Port Arlington by train apparently, and he visited his his parents and his little sister Eve. And well, anyway, he never returned, so they looked for him, but he wasn't at home either. His parents, he had visited them, but then, he left. And then the Mary Brown had to hire somebody else so that they would have a full crew, and so that's why they were delayed. They should have left 2 days ago. They would have passed the night before last. They only passed last night because they only left Port Arlington yesterday.
Oh boy. Alice is just considering if she's willing to give the police the information or not.
But I'm curious now. If you don't mind me asking, you don't seem to be from around here, so why are you so interested?
Well, it fits kind of. I don't know. Well, word is probably traveling in this town quickly enough. There was a body discovered this morning at the beach.
Excuse me?
Near our chalets.
This is the first that I heard.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. I'm also curious. The police officer, was Bruce?
Bruce.
He has not checked in with you, has he?
Not today. Was he supposed to talk to me?
Well, any sensible police officer with a body at the beach would do it.
Bruce is in charge of a dead body at the beach.
Yeah, is there another police officer in this town?
I'm afraid not. Then again, Bruce would probably not even be able to find whoever took his lunch. If he left his lunch outside at the harbor and it was taken by seagulls, he would probably not make that connection, if you get my drift.
I totally get your drift. Now I'm torn. Is Port Arlington overall responsible for Simmon Strand as well? If I want to go higher than him.
No, they're even in a different county, I'm afraid.
Oh, goodness grace. So his superior, do you know by any chance who the superior is?
Well, I suppose that would be the county sheriff.
Do you know?
I suppose. I don't know. I've never really given it any thought.
Yeah, I
mean,
not
you see,
sure.
Nothing ever happens here. I mean, Simmon Strand is very quiet. Every so often there are some youths that get drunk and they fall over the cliff, or there's a little bit of a fight. But then, the sailor, the fishermen will just break it up like that, and then they just give everyone a good hiding, and that's it.
Well, I can confirm that it's not as peaceful as everyone thinks. County sheriff. That's good to know. Then I will see if do you by any chance have a phone?
Of course they have a phone.
Well, it seems that...
Oh, do I have a phone?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant does the county... Of course I have a phone. We also launch the lifeboats from here, so if there is an emergency, it's important that they get to us quickly, and if they send us a carrying pigeon, it might take a while.
That is very true. Would I anyhow be able to use the phone maybe for 2 minutes? I will not stay on the line.
Please dial 0 for the operator, and he hands you, basically he takes the thing and he puts it in front of you.
And after sneezing violently, sorry if it went too loud, she will dial the 0 and wait for the operator.
Well, the operator, how can I help you?
Baker, I would need to talk to the county sheriff, please.
Of course, I'll put you through.
Thank
you.
you.
And you hear the... And then it says, buyers.
Baker, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
I am calling from the little town of Simmon Strand.
Yes.
Since the police officer here is not really helpful,
Oh?
I was thinking about maybe informing you that you can get the affairs straightened out that are happening here.
What is happening in Simmon Strand?
There was a body found this morning at the beach.
Excuse me?
Yes. I've seen him myself. We called the police in. And they sent it to a coroner in a town nearby?
Well, that would be my town then, wouldn't it?
Yes, so you should have a body from Simmon Strand from this morning. Because I have information and
what is your name again?
Baker. Alice Baker.
And you're calling from Simmon Strand, and you're telling me that there's a body in Simmon Strand that was found in Simmon Strand today and was taken to the morgue in my town, and I have not been informed.
It seems so. We found the body this morning at the beach, in front of our holiday chalets.
Michael? Yes, Sheriff? Be a good lad, run over to the morgue and check in if they've got a body. There should have been a body brought in sometime today from Simmon Strand, and I have no paperwork on this. Yes, Sheriff. I'm sorry, madam. What was your name again?
Alice Baker.
Ms. Baker, I'm unaware of anybody having been brought in from Simmon Strand today or ever for that matter, but I have sent my deputy Michael to check in with the coroner. Will you hold the line?
I will, thank you very much.
And you wait. And you wait.
She will mutter to herself in a quiet voice, but definitely Dottie will hear it, maybe also the harbor master, like, I thought police in New York was bad.
And about 15 minutes, no kidding, later.
In between, she would check in with the harbor master if it's okay that she stays on the line.
Oh, it's a party line, it's fine.
Okay.
Not that I'm blocking everyone who's emergency calls. Can listen to what you're saying, just so that you know.
She is like, okay.
And you can hear like Betty and Mary discussing recipes, swapping them, and then the sheriff comes on again. He says, "Betty, Mary, get off that party line. This is official business." And then they laugh at him, and and he's like, "Well, excuse me, madam, what was your name again?"
For the third time, Alice Baker.
Now, don't you take that tone of voice with me.
You can... If you want to solve the murder on your own, have fun with that.
Well, so now it's a murder. Earlier on, it was just a found body. Well, here is good news and bad news. The good news is, yes, we do have a body.
That's something.
The good news is also, it seems to be the body that you mentioned, because it did come in from Simmon Strand. The bad news is, I have no paperwork.
Probably the officer here in Simmon Strand would have been the one to send you the paperwork?
That would be Bruce.
Yes.
Bruce never sends in anything. I doubt that he can write and read.
Well, at least he can scribble on paper. That's why I'm calling. I'm really not...
So is this body related to you? Are you an interested party?
Well, as I said, I was one of the ladies who found the body at the beach.
So why is there no protocol? Why did nobody take down your statement?
I don't know. We talked to the police.
Well, you have to come into my office, I'm afraid, and we have to discuss this.
I am fine to do so. How far away is the drive to get over to you? From Simmon Strand?
It's about 40 minutes.
Then
there and back again by car. Why?
We will be there in an hour.
Fine.
Could you please give me the address that we can find it?
He gives you the address. It's in Swinford. You have never heard of this place. But you find out that this place is actually in Swinford County.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she will hang up. She will look at the harbor master. Thank you so much for your patience.
Let's see. He's unable to contain his grin.
I am really sorry you have to deal with people like this from time to time.
Well, I never deal with the police.
The only thing I can do, I want to hint. You are a really nice person. Probably.
He smiles.
Probably quite quickly the newspaper article will be solved where poor Mr. Miller went, so...
How do you mean?
You will see soon. Have a nice day. She will smile and pull Dottie to get out.
He looks very intrigued now, and he basically looks after you as you leave.
And then we will sadly go back to Mr. Martin because we need a car.
Okay.
He will hate us.
Outside. You see plenty of people. I mean, it's very lively. It's a Saturday. The sun is shining. There are children pulling on their parents' hands. I want to go to the beach. Can I buy me an ice cream? Blah, 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 that kind of thing. And you walk over to Mr. Morton's building, to his office building.
Yes.
And then suddenly make a check on mana power.
Oh,
make a power check.
Nice. Why is this a success? Oh wait, this is even... Oh god. Do I want to make it really critical success? Or not?
It's okay, you don't need a critical success.
Okay, then I will not spend the luck, because I'm just 1 point over the critical value, so it's a hard success.
Okay. And suddenly, a feeling grips you that is really strange. Suddenly, all of the noise drains away. It's almost like you've gone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly everything starts to slow down. It's like somebody is slowing down time. And another thing you notice, suddenly all of the colors drain away. It's like you're turning the whole scenery into a black and white movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you see across the street a boy, maybe 5 years old.
So...
And he's wearing blue jeans, like one of those blue jeans overalls that farmhands would wear. Back then, blue jeans were not a fashion statement, but basically work wear.
Mm-hmm.
So, with, like these, like an overall with suspenders and like the pocket up here.
Mm-hmm. I only just have the German word in mind, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't even know the German word, but you know what they look like, and then like white, a white shirt with the sleeves rolled back, blonde hair, and he is in full color. And he's looking at you.
I'm looking back with a questiony raised eyebrow.
And suddenly the whole scenery changes again, and it's almost like your ears are assaulted by the noise of people talking. The color comes back, the light floods back in, And now you have to make a con and a dex. I was going to say save, but I just mean rolls.
Okay.
Con roll and a dex roll.
Constitution is a big fail.
Okay.
Dex is a big... Okay, that's... Well, a big, it's a success. So con fail,
so basically
dex success.
you feel completely disoriented and you feel very, very dizzy.
Okay.
And that was the con roll. However, you passed your dex save. So basically, because you still have your cane with you...
I have the cane, I'm
also
leaning on it heavily now.
Yeah, and probably you're not too far away from Dottie, because the two of you usually walk side by side. So you basically hold on to her
I would immediately grip
and
her arm.
steady yourself. And she's like, "But what's wrong, madam? Alice, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. You're completely pale." And she looks around. "Let's sit down over there." And she drags you to a bench.
I will sit down for a second, just...
And she basically gets down in front of you on one knee, and she holds your hands and she looks at you and she says, "Are you okay?"
Just sit next to me. We don't want to make a scene, dear.
Well, do you think that people think that I'm proposing to you? And she basically gets up and sits down next to you. So what's wrong?
I had a weird thing happening.
Like what?
It was like, you know, when you would be in a movie theater and someone would tone down the sound, you would only have the picture, and the picture goes slower as if they would roll the movie in a slower speed. And then
that just happened to you?
All color drained. It was all black and white.
Are you sure you're okay? That sounds terrible.
And then I saw a little boy on the other side of the street. She would just point in the direction where he was standing.
Dottie, I mean, this is what you inadvertently do when somebody points somewhere. You usually just look. So
yeah, it's fine that she looks. There was a boy. He was in full color. Everything else was black and white. That was... And then it just all came back. Sound, light, noise, and it was a bit much.
She does what the normal thing in this case in those days was. She puts her hand on your forehead. And tests. You don't seem to have a fever.
I don't feel sick. Well, I was a bit like, as I said, it was a lot just to process again. I think I'm fine now. That was weird. Please don't...
Who was that boy? Did you reckon? I mean, surely you don't know any boys from this place.
It looked like a farmer's or worker's boy in blue jeans.
What? So it's not one of the Martins, the children, also they are
No. I would have recognized the Martin kids. What about the age of the boy? What kind of age?
5 years old.
5 years, okay. He was around 5 or 6 years old. So I don't know, and honestly, I hope I will not have to do this again ever. I don't know what it was. Let's just hope it never happens again, and if it happens, I should see a doctor probably, that I'm not getting a stroke, because that would be horrible. Poor Dottie.
Dottie passes a stability check. She is very, very concerned. You can see this. She is very concerned when she's looking at you. And she's like, she's trying to, and let's see, totally failing to pretend not to be feeling your pulse.
I will let her do it if she feels better with that. And I think I'm good now again.
Maybe you should just eat something and have something to drink. Not alcohol, but, just to get something in that stomach. I mean, we did have a snack, but it was,
It was more than I would usually eat for lunch. What do you think? We will get a car, and on the way we will grab a snack. Like maybe...
A car?
Yes, we are going to Swinford.
What?
Well, we need to talk to at least a halfway decent police officer.
Do you think that's necessary?
If not, if we tell it this... You haven't met this police officer. If we tell him who the body is, nothing will happen. Nothing. The family should know that their son is dead.
All right, then. Yes.
Awesome. Alice is getting up again, straightening herself.
She gets up as well. She basically takes you by the arm, and she insists on.
I'm not fighting her now.
Yeah. So, and then the two of you walk
over to Mr. Barton again.
As you walk, you suddenly see the boy again, like maybe 5 meters away from you, and he's looking at you.
Again with the whole shebang of noise off and black.
No, this time everything is normal. What do you do?
I just whisper. He's in front of us?
Is that a question, or is that what you're whispering?
No, the question is to you, where is the boy? Because
he's standing right in front of you looking at you. He looks just like you remember him.
She would...
Unfortunately, Dottie didn't see anything.
Then she would just whisper to Dottie, the boy's right in front of us, Dottie.
She looks and she's...
But she would talk to Dottie, but not
look
away from the boy.
Yeah. She now looks
Alice...
as well, because, I mean, now obviously that you're pointing this out...
Yeah.
Because she was obviously looking towards the building that she was going to, and the boy is a lot smaller than she is, although she's not very tall, so she was looking at a different level. And then she looks down, she's like, oh, he's just like you described him.
Okay, so I'm not hallucinating. That is something. Alice will go down on her knee, which will be hard, but hey, it's just one good knee to get his height, basically.
Yeah.
Can we help you?
He looks around and he says, not here. And there's something weird about his voice. It's almost like it's coming from a very far away place, although he's really just literally, I mean, you couldn't touch him from where you're kneeling, but he's 5 meters away, and it's not now, I mean, it's not noisier than it was. It sounds like he is very far away from you.
Then where?
He turns around and he just walks away.
We don't have time for this kid. Come on, Dottie, let's see where he leads us carefully.
Okay.
Did you hear this voice?
I did. It sounded somewhat strange.
It sounded like far away.
I know.
Is that something Sinead would like to see, because it's a ghost apparition again? Why?
I honestly hope that this is not a ghost, and she speaks a lot more loudly than she probably intended.
Let's move
on. And let's see if anyone heard her. 95. You're lucky. Nobody heard her.
Okay. We are following him.
Okay, so.
Depends on where he goes.
Okay. Suddenly, for both of you, the whole scene changes entirely. Where there used to be a busy street with people, where there used to be houses, what you now see is a huge, wonderful beach. Somewhere on a sea coast, you have no idea where. High above you, in the sky, is a blazing sun. And the white sand is is actually almost radiating warmth. It's not so hot that you couldn't touch it or walk on it, but it feels nice. There's a nice little breeze. There's the nice sound of the waves. And every so often, you can hear seagulls in the distance. But there is no town. There is no houses. There are no people. Except the little boy.
Just to make it safe and sound, I'm holding on to Dottie. We are not letting go of each
and
other.
of course, Dottie is next to you.
That is...
yeah. And do you look at Dottie?
No, I'm just looking at the boy.
Okay.
But I'm holding on to her and just having basically that her arm is around here and I have my hand on her arm just to...
And this boy is looking out onto the sea. And you're walking towards him, but it seems like he's always further retreating. So it's almost like with every step you take, he is...
Yeah. I have an image in mind.
Yeah. What do you do?
I would stop moving. And with all the ghosty things I learned so far, would I have any kind of chance to find out if this feels or sees? Is he transparent or anything or flickering?
Okay, so he's not transparent. He is, but you did so much work on occult last time. So, did you actually increase your abilities at all?
Occult went up a bit, yes.
Yeah. So you can roll occult, but please give me a bonus die. So you're getting a bonus die for this.
Oh, I will take that. I will not take the second roll because that would be horrible because the second was 100. I have a...
No, this is actually not a ghost.
No, that's not a ghost.
You are in a film.
Exactly.
You're making a movie.
No, I rolled a 30, but it's still a fail.
Okay.
And too far away to reach.
Well, I mean, the thing is, whatever this is definitely...
Not normal.
You would say you are experiencing it. So for you, this is really real, but you also realize that this is really strange.
It is. Is this your safe place, little one?
Oh, you speak to him.
I'm speaking
so
to
what
him
he
now.
does is he looks at you, and you can see the utter look of defeat and helplessness in the face of this little child. I mean, no child should look like this. And you can see that he's kind of stooped a little, like a big weight is weighing him down. And he raises his hand, and it's almost like his fingers form this claw. He's like really cramped. And then you have a feeling like he's shouting, but there is no sound coming from his lips. And then, like that, suddenly all noise goes away. It doesn't drain away like it used to in the first instance, but it just is switched off from one day to the next, or from 1 second to the next. No more waves, no more water, no more seagulls. It's just completely quiet. And he drops his hand, and his hand is now completely limp. And it falls down by his side. And he turns away from you and looks again at the ocean. But the ocean is no longer blue. The ocean has turned into a tar-like substance that's bubbling. It looks like it's boiling. And a huge wave is rising from this black tar-like substance, and it's cresting at 5, 7, 10 meters. And then it crashes onto the shore that you're standing on, and it covers the boy and it covers the beach, and it covers you. And you again feel this feeling of dizziness, and you can tell without looking at Dottie that she's feeling it too, because she's suddenly gripping onto you, and you can feel that she's finding it difficult to keep on her feet. And with an 11, she passes her dexterity check, so she does stay upright. And suddenly all is black. You are surrounded by total pitch blackness. You can't see anything. It's almost like you don't have any eyes to see with. And from very far away, you can hear a creaking sound. A creaking sound, like something is shaking, some kind of metal hinge or something is creaking. But there is no light anywhere.
Is the creaking sound regularly or just...
It's almost like something is... You know those old houses that have those like little weather things on top that basically go with the wind, so if it's kind of like this rhythmic, so it's going round, and every time it does a full round it starts creaking, so it's kind of regular. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do?
First of all, still holding on to Dottie.
And she's holding on to you.
And then trying to speak. And see if I can hear my own voice, and if Dottie can hear my voice. Like, Dottie?
Alice, what is this place?
Oh, at least we can hear each other. I have no idea.
Yes, and I can hear a creaking noise.
Me as well. Can I try to listen and find out from which direction the creaking noise is coming?
Please do. You can use
Listen?
Listen, yeah. And she can do this too.
Oh, that is a big fail.
30. She passes.
That is good, because I rolled a 94.
I mean, you can still hear it. It's
I can hear it, but I can't figure out from which
you
direction.
find it, you're disoriented. Yeah. She's faring a little bit better, and she's like, I think it's coming from over there, and she's pointing, or you believe that she is, but the point is you can't see it. It's like you can see her body, and you can see her pointing, but it's like she's pointing at nothing. She's just pointing at blackness, and she says, should we go there?
Yes, carefully, one step after the other. Let's go into the direction, because we don't have another chance, and I really hope not in real life we're standing in the middle of the street and get hit by a car. We're moving forward. Lead the way, Dottie.
Mm-hmm. You walk, and she's walking really slowly. I mean, she's so careful. She's being so careful. It's almost like she's walking on a tightrope.
How does the floor, or what we are walking on, feel? Is it steady, or is it like solid, or is it like sand, like wibbly wobbly?
It's very steady. It's very solid.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you can't hear anything, but
it feels at least solid.
Yeah. You can't hear your own steps. That's maybe something you were wondering about. You can hear your voices, but you can't hear your steps.
That's so weird. Well, everything here is weird.
And now you can also hear that the creaking noise is getting louder. So you're obviously walking in the right direction. You're walking to a place, wherever that place is, but you're getting closer. And suddenly, you can see in the distance a red glow. And that red glow is coming more and more into focus as you are approaching. And you can tell it must be big, because even from a distance it looks very big. And it's a symbol. And it's the same symbol as one of the 3 that you saw on that paper. you walk towards it.
Dottie, that looks like one of the symbols on the paper that we found from Matthew.
Let's see if she remembers. You showed her the symbols, didn't you?
Yeah, she had a look at them as well.
56. Yeah, that's her intelligence roll. Yeah, she does remember. Yeah. Yes, it does.
Should we move forward to it, or should we maybe call out and see if there's someone here?
I don't know.
Alice will raise her voice a bit and will just call out, basically into the void, like, "Hello, we are lost. Is anybody here?"
Absolute silence.
Is the creaking...
You also have a feeling that your voice doesn't carry.
Okay. The creaking is going on? Yeah. It comes from the direction of the symbol?
It does indeed.
Then let's move on, I guess. Whatever that means.
Okay. As you approach, and you feel, because obviously distances are impossible to judge because everything is black. You're just walking towards this thing, and it's of course growing bigger because you're... And as you are as close as you think you can get without actually physically... I mean, let's say you're keeping one arm's length away from it. It looks like it's as big as the window of a normal room. So, I don't know how tall a window is, maybe... I don't know, mine are probably a little bit over a meter, 1.20 meters high.
Yeah, 120 is I think normal.
Yeah,
height.
so that's the size that you're looking at. And it's essentially hovering in front of you. Don't know if it's based on something because you can't see anything. It's just basically hovering in front of you. But it's not moving. It's steady.
Well, that is much nicer than inside that freaking mirror. At least we're not freezing to death or drowning. Alice will carefully step forward, hand stretched out.
Let's see, because let's see how Dottie feels about this.
Yeah, I know.
63.
The moment I said it, and I think the moment Alice said
it,
she's
it's fine.
like, oh boy.
She has 85 sanity. She's fine.
Oh, thank goodness.
She's so over this.
Alice will stretch out.
But she does squeeze your hand a little bit, and she says, "Just don't let go."
Never. And she will move forward a tiny bit. Will have her hand stretched out and will try to touch the sign.
Okay.
I
now do a listen roll, please.
Yeah. Now I have a song stuck in my head. Sorry for everyone who has the same song now stuck in their head.
Is it I Saw the Sign?
Yeah, that's exactly.
So when you said this thing about, I was like, I saw.
That's exactly what went through my head. Oh boy, good old music. I rolled a listen. You said?
Yeah.
I was. My luck is so low. No, I fail.
Suddenly, dear Dottie tightens her grip even more. You will have to talk to her about vises and how not to squeeze people's hands because you are losing the feeling in your fingers. And she's like, "Did you hear that?"
No.
It's like, and suddenly you can hear it too. It's like a deep breathing noise. Like I don't know if you've ever been close to horses, or if Alice has ever been close to horses, but this really loud breathing of a big lung is right behind you, and then it's behind you, and then you feel a sharp pain at the base of your skull.
Oh goodness gracious.
And you fall down.
I'm holding on to Dottie.
And
If I have the chance, that is the main focus. Holding on to Dottie.
you come round. There is bright light. There is a deafening noise. A noise the likes of which you don't think you've ever heard. If they don't stop, your eardrums are going to burst. And then it all comes into focus and you hear someone saying, "Miss Baker, are you all right? Miss Baker?" Do you open your eyes?
We'll take a deep breath first and then carefully open probably one
You
eye.
look into the face of Mr. Morton,
Okay.
who is kneeling next to you, and he says, I've already asked for a doctor. I stepped outside to have a smoke, and you and your companion were lying outside, and there were people around you, and they said that you had just collapsed. Can you do a stability roll, please?
Yes, but it means Dottie is still next to me, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
she's also lying there. She's
honestly-
also now opening her eyes, and she's like, "Where am I?"
We're back in town. No, I'm not rolling well. Well, I rolled one in between. I shouldn't complain, but that was a big fail.
Okay, so she loses 1 sanity. So if you fail, then please roll a 1d4 and lose that much sanity, please.
Give me a second. I did not prepare any attack or damage dice. D4. That's a 3.
Okay, you lose 3 sanity. And a person is pushing through and says, "Excuse me, let me through. I'm the doctor." And a young man of maybe 26 with, like, the doctor's bag and, and he's like, and he kneels down and he's like, "Oh, madam, are you all right? And you look very pale. May I?" And he basically, he's conflicted. So he basically tries to touch you and feel your pulse, but there's all these people around, and it's like, you can tell that he's out of his depth. He probably, people come to him because they have a cough. So he's got 2 ladies, one of whom is older than him, one of whom is younger and possibly not even of age yet, and he's supposed to touch them in front of everybody. He's like, this is way too much.
How does Alice... talking is okay again? Eyes are open? Mr. Morton?
It's still a bit loud, but
Yeah.
it's slowly coming into focus and also slowly becoming normal again.
Mr. Morton, could we just maybe go get to your office?
Are you sure? I think, Dr.
Yeah, also with,
Dr.
with,
Smythe
with,
might...
with the doctor, maybe.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, where are my manners? And he basically...
just help us
he
up.
gets up and he basically holds your hand.
Yeah, if they support us
And
and slowly getting up...
He's also conflicted because, can he pull you up by your arm, or should he maybe carry you?
Alice will hold out the arm. Just help me to get up.
And he takes guidance from you as to how to get a lady out of this very improper position.
Especially today, she's wearing a dress and not pants.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. And basically, he's you get up, you stand there, you make sure that you look decent. You help up Dottie because Dottie basically stretches out her hand to you.
Yeah, I will hold her up. I will look around for my cane.
It's there. Everything's there. Your handbag is still over your arm or wherever you used to carry it, and everything is still where it was. And you also are in the same place where you remember seeing the boy.
We will just let the people or the man help us inside of Mr. Morton's office.
Yeah, so you can walk into. You can walk. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's not in any way. You're not in any way impaired. You go inside. He takes you to his office. He offers you seats. The doctor looks at you. He takes your pulse. He says, he puts a stethoscope to your chest, basically over whatever it is that you're wearing. And he asks you to breathe in and out, and he listens, and he says, well, I'm afraid I can't find anything. Your heart seems fine. Your lungs seem fine.
Honestly, that is...
And he shines a light into your eyes, and he's like, and you don't seem to be concussed.
That is good to know that nothing is really broken. I'm sorry that we scared the town.
Well, was it something you ate? What did you have for lunch?
We had different things for lunch. It can't be the food. Maybe we...
Well, I mean, for one person to faint, that is not unheard of. It is a warm day, and sometimes the ladies, when they... And he basically doesn't know how to say the word bra without offending anyone.
Well, I know that the women's clothing is not always helpful with blood circulation and breathing.
But for two ladies to faint at the same time, that is highly unusual. I mean, it could have been the food, but if you were having different dishes, then that's also out. Quite frankly, and he looks very hopeless, I'm puzzled.
Honestly, Doctor, I think maybe today was a bit much, maybe, as Mr. Morton will understand, since we found a body this morning at the beach, and was quite something.
Oh, then of course this is a delayed hysterical reaction. It makes perfect sense now. You know what? I will just prescribe you a little tonic.
That would be lovely.
And then he looks at Dottie and he looks at you and he says, is your sister allowed alcohol?
Yes.
Good, because it does contain some alcohol. And he writes a prescription.
Alice is not straightened. This is too much hassle to straighten that up.
And basically he says, well, the pharmacy is right around the corner, actually. And he realizes that anything he
is
says
around the corner.
will end up with, it's right around the corner.
Thank you so much.
And they will have this ready.
Thank you.
I will walk by to my practice. I will walk to my practice and we'll drop by and we'll tell them that you will pick it up today.
Thank you.
You should take 2 spoons, one in the morning and one at night, each of you.
Understood. We will do so. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, he's giving you Klosterfrau-Medicine, guys. So 74%.
Yeah, and, just some alcohol and some whatever's in there.
Yeah. And he leaves, and he basically says to Doc, and Mr. Morton says, well, I will, of course, just send me the bill. And he's like, oh, it's nothing. And, it's like, yeah, well, I'll see you at the Rotary Club, and,
Okay. Alice will look around for a clock. How much time did pass?
All of 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's really not much later then.
That is what Alice want to know,
really
because
not much later. It's almost like you walked from the harbour master to Mr. Morton's in an uninterrupted fashion.
Dottie, how are you feeling? Next to completely being disturbed, probably as I am.
I feel like I just had the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life. I can remember every single moment, every single second, every single sound, every single sight. I could paint a picture. That's how stark in my mind it is. And it's the same for you, incidentally.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact that Sinead's coming is not such a bad idea.
After what we just went through, it seems right. And honestly, I'm not sure I should be driving a car to Swindon today.
Well, maybe we can go to Swinford tomorrow. I mean, what were you trying to get from that police officer anyway?
I just want to give him the proper information that I can tell the family that the boy is dead and bury him properly.
Oh, you mean You mean you want to let him know that this is Carl Miller?
Yes.
Maybe you can do this over the phone?
And everyone else is listening in on that.
Oh. How about you send him a telegram?
That is maybe something. Mr. Morton?
Yes, Miss Baker. And he's basically pouring alcohol in glasses and handing it out.
Could we just quickly have the phone? I need to cancel an appointment.
Sorry, what? I didn't.
I need to cancel an appointment we have.
Oh, of course. Yeah, and he hands you the phone. He steps outside. He takes his drink with him and closes the door.
Oh, she would. At the moment he moves, you can stay here. It's a quick call, nothing secret, and then we can have maybe just a few.
Oh, I'll just have a smoke. Just let me know when you're finished. Alice
will call the.
You can actually tell that he's got really yellow fingers. He seems to be a chain smoker. Yeah.
She will dial 0 again. Probably the same.
You end up with a party line and you get through to the sheriff.
Get through to the sheriff. And we'll basically just tell him that I'm not feeling well, that I fainted today and I should not be driving over. So either he comes over to Simmon Strand or I can send the information I have via telegram, whatever he likes most.
Yes, Miss Beechwood, where exactly are you staying?
In Simmon Strand, there are new cottages built up at the beach, basically at the beach where the body was found.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And me and my assistants are in one of the 3 cottages.
Okay, Miss Bridewell, when would suit you?
Whenever it fits for you.
Good. Well, I could leave in half an hour and then be with you in an hour.
That sounds perfect. Until then, I'm quite sure we find someone who can drive us back home. Thank you very much. Then see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, Miss Bridewell.
Alice not even trying. She would just hang up and tell Dottie basically that the sheriff of the county will come in about an hour to visit us. We should have an eye open for him because I'm not sure if he will even find it or if he will find us. He will probably talk to the Sterlings and Martins and think he talked to them. But hey. And then I would just... Let's try to move a bit, I guess. What do you think? Just see? But I would be really tempted to ask Mr. Morton if someone could drive us back to our chalet. I'm not sure if we should take the walk.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Why not? Why not take a car? Yeah, why not? I have a feeling that he will say yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you go outside.
Yes.
He's standing there again, smoking, and he's standing halfway in the door, and with his glass and his tumbler, his whiskey tumbler, and as soon as he sees you, he extinguishes his cigarette. He basically takes it and.
Oh, please go on smoking,
No.
sir.
How did it go? Did you manage to cancel your appointment?
Well, the county sheriff's coming over now. I don't have to drive there, so it's honestly even better than before.
Oh, all right, okay.
Just. You can be... We should go inside just for a second, please.
He steps inside and closes the door.
You can be discreet, right? At least until the police officially says something.
Of course, and what about?
The body that was found this morning. We know who he is. He's a local.
Oh, you do?
He's a local.
Oh.
He is, what's his first name? Carl?
Carl Miller.
Carl.
Carl.
It's Carl Miller. His family is here. He was on visit.
Carl Miller?
Mm-hmm.
Carl Miller?
Yes.
You do know who Carl Miller is, though, do you?
I don't know who he is, no. I know
but you were asking about, well,
I know he went missing, and that his
Yes.
ship was waiting for him in Port Arlington, and it started.
Now that I didn't know, but
They-
you
that
actually talked about him this morning.
what?
You asked me about the Roland farmstead.
Okay.
Carl Miller was the boy that was tangled up in the murder case. But they didn't find any evidence, and his family adopted little Eve. So now she's lost another brother. That girl really is very unlucky. Now, isn't that strange that you mention Roland's farmstead this morning, and one of the people attached to it dies on that same day, or is found dead on that same day?
I don't know what Matthew got himself into, but I really am not appreciative.
Well, I do hope that my lawyer is not involved in Carl Miller's death.
No, you don't. Honestly, I'm more worried that he's the next being on the shore and not in a live state. Matthew couldn't kill he couldn't kill a fly.
Do you think that he has anything to do with Roland's farmstead? I mean, he's not even from around here. And
No.
I would be surprised if that made New York news. I mean, I remember it clearly. My father was still alive at the time. But you see, it was terrible. It was a terrible crime, but it was a singular crime. Things like that don't happen here, but I didn't realize that it might have spread to New York, that people in New York might have read about it.
Just to be curious, the local paper here, from which is it from here, or is it coming from another town that basically covers the area?
Well, it's the Swinford Gazette.
Okay, so Swinford. It might be that tomorrow we would need your car.
Of course.
One of your cars. Officially rented and paid, don't worry about that.
Of course, it's not a problem at all, of course.
Because I
of
think
course.
we need to go...
I'll fill out the paperwork myself. You can pick it up whenever.
Let's maybe go through...
What I will do is I will just fill it out and I'll give you the key. So even if nobody's here, because tomorrow is Sunday...
That would be lovely.
You can just... I'll show you where the car park is. I'll point out the car to you, and then you can just pick it up. And he proceeds to take out a piece of paper, fills it in, date of birth. Well, we're not asking a lady that, and he crosses it out, and he basically then hands you it, and he says, if you would sign here, please.
Yeah, Alice is signing. She's still mulling over what he said.
And then he hands you a key.
Thank you so much. Miller is the boy that found. That is something.
He was, I don't know, 15 at the time.
And
he joined. I remember. Let me see. I think it was about 15 or so, and I remember. Talk of the town was that he joined the merchant navy instead of going into the farming business. But his parents didn't mind because it was agreed that Eve would take over the farm. I believe the idea was that he would still inherit part of it, but she would run it because she was always into farming. I mean, that's what I heard. She's at school.
Well, as a sailor, you need a place to go to when you're old, because it's quite hard,
I guess,
on health. So
I mean, at the moment she's only like 10 or 11 or something. I mean, she's still very young. She's still at school.
But the parents are still there to run
Oh
the farm.
yes, I mean the parents are. Well, he's 20 now, so his parents are maybe 45.
Okay, we definitely, turning to
Good
Dottie,
people, very good people, salt of the earth, have been around for generations.
we definitely need to figure out a bit more information on this accident. I would be curious to... No, forget it. We will figure it out with this one Gazette. Alice is talking to herself, just thinking about it, and then she just
Mm-hmm.
snaps back into, well, whatever. As I said, it would be nice if you keep it discreet and not. The police should tell the Millers, not anyone else in this town, I guess. That's why we're talking to the county sheriff, because, to be frank, the police officer here is quite useless.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you see, he's useful for what he's supposed to do. He tells children to be mindful of their parents.
But a good police.
He will find your dog when it goes missing in 5 seconds flat.
But he's not able.
He will help old ladies cross the street. He will ensure that no old age pensioner who lives on his own doesn't get fed every day. But he is never been involved in any form of crime. I think that really isn't what he's good at. I would say he is the heart and soul of this community. He knows every single person. He knows what goes on behind people's doors. He knows who's engaged to whom, who's expecting, who's dead, when they died, how they died. He knows all this. He's the living memory, but he is not a crime solver, I'm afraid.
At least he could have informed the county and put in the paperwork.
I suspect he will do so, but probably not today or tomorrow. I don't think he sees the urgency. I'm not defending him.
No,
I'm just saying he really is probably out of his depth.
We are just used to a different pace in the city because the police is working basically 24/7.
Oh, he's not working 24/7. He's there from Monday to Friday,
Yeah.
and if something really urgent happens, you can talk to him on Saturday. So that's probably why you saw him, because usually the police station is closed on a Saturday. If you really need him, you will have to go to his house at the weekend.
Well, let's see. I'm talking to the county sheriff anyhow, yet now it's happening. One last request. I'm not sure Dottie and I want to walk back to the chalet.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I was going to offer anyway. I will get one of the guys from the garage to take you home.
That would be lovely. We will just...
Is there anything that you still need to pick up in the city, in the town?
Yeah, we just need to go to the pharmacy to get...
Oh, yes, of course, to get your tonic.
And also it's a weekend. I'm not sure if the store... No, they're probably closed. That would be all.
Oh, right. So, well, the doors will be... The shops will be open tomorrow again. This is a seaside resort after all, so you can do your shopping tomorrow. They open at 10 on a Sunday because everybody has to go to Mass first. Okay. But then they're open until 4. Okay. And, of course, the cafes and restaurants are always open. And, of course, well, I mean, if I may say so myself, I mean, well, I mean, I'll have to hand it to old Murphy. The food in his hotel is excellent. I have tasted it myself, and you can go there every evening. They have an open house at 6.
Matthew told me, and he was quite impressed with the food. Feeling a bit bad talking about it, I think, but...
well, I mean, after all, I put him up there. He's working for me, but I want him to have the best possible, accommodation, and I just didn't figure that he would be happy in a chalet, because he would have to fend for himself, and... I wasn't sure if he was a good cook.
He's not. You did the right thing. She would smile. Then the pharmacy, and then going back. Mm-hmm. We can walk a few steps to the pharmacy. That's not the problem if you're...
Oh, all right. So while you're going to the pharmacy, I will just get one of the lads to pull out the car, and it will be outside in front of the building, and you just have to hop in.
Thank you so much. I have no idea how to repay all the help you're giving.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I'm very, very sorry that you are going through all of this. I mean, this was supposed to be a holiday with your friend and your companion, and now your friend's somehow gone, and you find a body in the morning, and I'm actually very, very sorry, and I'm already... oh, by the way, I did send the brandy and the flowers.
That is So
I've already decided that I will gift you another week here, but in, let's say, next year, when hopefully all of this will have died down and there will be no dead bodies, and when you can actually come and relax.
well,
Ms. Baker.
it might be an option depending on what happens next week. Maybe that we need to stay a little longer, so we might.
Oh,
come
that
to
wouldn't be a
that
problem
offer
at
with
all.
you.
I mean, like I said, the chalets are not rented out yet.
Then,
so.
but we will see how it goes. Thank you so much for your help. And
Not at all.
Dottie and I are going to the pharmacy to grab the fun alcoholic drink we are getting.
And you go outside, you go into the pharmacy, you hand over your prescription. The pharmacist looks at it, he looks at you over his glasses, and he says, is your sister allowed to take alcohol, because this is quite strong?
Yeah, she is, don't worry.
Oh, good. It's a tonic, so you take this 1 spoon in the morning, 1 spoon in the evening, and no more.
Understood.
And it tastes quite bitter, so you can also take it with lots of sugar.
Understood.
I know that the ladies like it sweet. I mean, he's like 100 years old. And he comes back with a bottle. It's brown glass, and it's got like a stopper in it. And he opens the bottle. You can see that it's new, so basically this has never been used. And then he basically decants this clear liquid into it, and you can smell. You know how claustrophobic smells. You know, this really permeating smell.
Oh.
And he stoppers the bottle and he hands it to you, and he says, that will be 70 cents, please, madam.
Alice will go through a pouch and put $1 on a...
Oh, thank you very much. And he basically gives you 30 cents change.
I will take it.
Okay. You step outside.
We step outside.
You see the boy.
We just see the boy, nothing else?
Well, you still see the surrounding. It's
the
not
rest
like
is there,
you're
not
in
black
a
and
white
white
area
sound.
and it's just the boy.
Alice will look away from the boy and will explicitly look for the car.
For the car that's parked outside of Morton's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over there.
The question is the boy on the way to Morton?
No, the boy's just standing there.
Right in front of us?
Kind of.
How far away?
An arm's length.
I think Alice will pull Dottie back into the pharmacy then.
Okay.
Would just whisper to Dottie, did you see him?
Yes, I did.
I'm not ready for another trip like that.
I'm not sure if we have a say in this.
The poor pharmacist is like, why are they back in my store and not talking to me?
He's actually climbed a ladder and he's doing stuff in the back. He's not even, I mean, you can see his back turned towards you.
Could we just try to walk past him and just see what happens? Although I feel bad, I'm really not.
Okay. You step outside.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
Looking at the car that we have to get to and just walk. But I would hold on to Dottie just to be safe.
You walk past him. And you walk towards the car. Suddenly, 2 men appear behind the car and walk right towards you. They are dressed in black. They're wearing black gloves.
Is there a chance that we cross the street? Quickly.
Sure, you can walk. They walk past you. They walk towards the boy.
Alice would go back and would just call after the 2 guys. Excuse me, sirs? Are they reacting to me?
As you turn towards them and call out.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, it's like the sky falls down on you. Only the sky is really black. It's like this black wave that you remember from your dream.
No.
And what happens is it crumbles into black shards that rain into your face and onto your body. And you lose one d6 life points. You get glass cuts all over.
Okay.
Oh my god, and Dottie loses the full 3 points.
D6 or D3?
D3.
Okay. I lose 2 points.
And you have to roll for stability. She's fine.
Okay. I'm just trying to get this on paper, which is tricky because I can't write quick enough for that. So life points, let me see. Oh, the hit points, 3, right?
Sorry, yeah, hit points,
2, 3. 3. And sanity?
Yeah. Why do I keep calling it stability? Oh, because it's stability in German. It's Stabilität.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
stability in German. And I failed.
Okay, so you roll a 1d4 and you take that much sanity loss.
That's a 1, thank goodness grace. So we are back in blackness?
No.
Just...
It's now really like it was, and you see the 2 men walking away from you. You can now do a spot hidden.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Spotty. Dottie sees nothing.
I definitely see something... a success.
Okay. You notice that they have some kind of... They're wearing black coats, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they have like a whitish cross on their backs. But the cross is like... It's kind of been drawn there maybe with chalk and it's kind of faded. So it's kind of almost like washed out. And as they move, the crosses ripple with their movement. So it looks really strange. It's almost like a hypnotic experience. Your eyes are focused on these moving crosses and it's like it's really getting into your brain.
Do I have the chance to close my eyes?
Yeah, but not before you do a stability check. You lose 1d2 stability. Sanity, sorry.
That is 2.
Okay. But at least not 5 in one go, so you're safe.
Oh god, my sanity's getting lower and lower. This should help, don't make it worse. We were on vacation to get back.
That's like really not working out for you, is it?
No, it's not.
This is only the first day.
I will just close my eyes, just breathe. And we'll just open the eyes again. Are the men still there walking towards the boy?
The boy has started to move and the men are now running after him. And they round a corner. And they're out of sight now.
What are we doing, Dottie? Going home?
I have no idea. She didn't see any. She didn't lose any sanity because she saw nothing. She didn't see the crosses. She failed every single spot hidden roll.
The shards and that part.
The shards. She looks.
Did she see the guys?
She looks like a really bad case of acne.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, she has like all of these spots. It's not like they're bleeding, but it's, she's got scratches all over. She looks like she's been in a fight with a kitten.
Yeah,
like,
I'm really looking probably the same.
Yeah, you look horrible. I mean, you both look horrible.
Let's go to the car and get home.
You get into the car, or you go towards the car, and a man jumps out of the car. You can see that he's obviously a mechanic because he's got like engine oil on his hands, and he's been trying, even when mechanics clean their hands, unless they use whatever it is that they use, I think they use wheat flour actually, there is always stains on them. And he jumps out of the car and he says, ladies, what happened to you? Are you all right? You seem to be scratched.
We had a little accident with tiny bit of gas. Don't worry, it's just superficial. It's not.
Well,
not
are you
bad.
sure that you don't want to see the doctor?
Yes, definitely. The doctor already gave us prescription, so don't worry about that. If you could just bring us to the chalet as Mr. Morgan
Of course. And he tears open the car door. And he's like, and he asks you to step inside. And then he asks Dottie to sit down. He gets in the car. He pulls on a pair of gloves, because obviously this is one of the cars that they rent out, so he doesn't want to get his greasy hands on the steering wheel, and he drives off. And he takes you to the chalet. So the first time you approach the chalet from the roadside. And of course, the walk is the scenic route, which takes a little bit longer because it actually follows the shoreline, but there is a more direct route, which you're taking now. And of course, you're driving, so it's really literally like 10 minutes. So it took you 25 to 30 minutes as you walked, and you could make this even longer if you took more time.
Okay.
But you're there, you arrive at the house, go into the house. And what you find there, we will see next time.
Oh, goodness grace. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for playing. This is just so enjoyable. I really, really love playing these games. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you again for our Patreons. If you like what we're doing, subscribe, and leave a comment. And we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.